Hello, everyone. I realize I'm in the wrong place. I was writing down the names of the people who voted for the puzzle. Now you can see the secret system that Discord will just tell me who voted for the puzzle. Uh, I hope everyone is having a good Sunday or whatever day it is where you happen to be. Looking forward to some puzzles today. I was delighted when I saw that my supporters had voted for me to do a puzzle by SSG, who has just been really blowing it out of the park lately. I don't think that's a phrase. Knocking it out of the park lately? That's probably actually a phrase. Although just SSG is a real ascendant setter, to put it mildly. I think I will reveal that I have a list of puzzle of the year contenders, because last year I did my top 10 puzzles of the year video, and so I want to do something similar to that at the end of this year, and I've been just sort of keeping a list. And the SSG puzzle we did last stream just went straight onto the list. Of course, the list might be like 40 puzzles long or something like that. So, but just amazing puzzle. Happy birthday, DDX, by the way. Great to see. Always happy to have birthdays. I think I'm obligated to tell you by Sudoku tradition that I hope you have lots of cake. Preferably chocolate cake with sprinkles. Anyway, so then I read the rules to this puzzle and then realized that this puzzle has rules that are very similar to a slightly traumatic Nevario puzzle that actually, if you go back, one of the earliest videos on this channel is Tristan and I solving the puzzle Dynamic Duos. Cheesecakes are great. Chocolate cheesecakes are especially great. But if you go back and watch that video, you will see Tristan and I forget a key piece of the rules and then spent an hour trying to make deductions and coming up with this incredibly intricate and amazing deduction that's just gorgeous and is completely and totally unnecessary to the entire puzzle, because there's some rule that makes it really easy that we just didn't read when we were reading the rules. But anyway, so that is forever something that will be in my mind. But before we get to this SSG puzzle, I should make a couple of announcements. So there's a few pending things. So next Sunday is stream 100, I believe. Or is it the Sunday after? What stream number is this? I can look at my thing, can't I? This is 97. Yes. Next Sunday is stream 100. And so as stream 100, we're going to do a little celebration. And so the celebration is going to consist of Tallcat joining me. And we're going to solve some puzzles. So if you have a puzzle that you think would be good for Tallcat and I to do in celebration of the 100th stream, then by all means, you're welcome to submit it. It does not have to have a 100 theme. If it has a 100 theme, that's great. But if it does not have a 100 theme, that is also perfectly okay. I know that I am far from the first streamer to have a 100th something celebration. And so there have been a lot of 100 themed puzzles out there. So anyway, feel free to go outside that box and just submit something you think would be fun. But again, if you have a 100 theme puzzle, by all means, let that be your inspiration. After that, so in the weeks following that, I haven't announced the exact date that I'm going to start yet, but I have a setting challenge that after the 100th stream stuff is done, we're going to start digging into, which is approximately speaking to set a pencil puzzle in a genre that you've never set a pencil puzzle before, or variant. Could be a new pencil puzzle genre that you invent, or it could be a hybrid of two pencil puzzle genres, whatever. Submissions for that are also available on the Discord. We've sort of streamlined a lot of the submission process for these things by using threads on Discord. So there are now multiple threads there. One for the pencil puzzle challenge, one for the 100th stream stuff, and one for 6x6s for me to do at the end of stream. So all of those are things that you can sort of put puzzles there. Please do not put puzzles in any of these places until you have had them tested. Because, well, I'm going to do them, and It will be unfortunate for everyone if I'm doing a puzzle on stream in front of 50 people and it turns out that it's broken. So please submit only puzzles that you have had tested by a couple of people in some capacity. But that is that. I mean, I think so far I've been very lucky. I think there's only been one puzzle in my entire streaming career that I have done that has had something fundamentally wrong. And that, I mean, the fundamentally wrong thing was that the setter claimed there was a negative constraint, but actually the negative constraint wasn't true. They'd missed one clue. So I've been very lucky in that regard, but let's keep that rolling, would be my preference. Also, oh, did I misspeak about the 6x6 thing? That's a good question, Ambrose. I'm not sure. I'll let Tristan decide exactly how that works. Since ultimately Tristan is the one who has historically done these. I do realize that people have been sort of like putting check marks when they checked them there, so maybe for the 6x6s you can just post it there, and then I should make sure I actually look to see that someone has clicked the check mark when I'm picking puzzles. At the end of stream, that would probably be smart. Yeah, as Tristan says, the 6x6 one is slightly different. So yeah, sorry, I misspoke. But yeah, the 6x6 one, if you want it tested, you can just put it there, and then people can talk about it in the thing. Alrighty. Also, I should mention, we're just in like heavy announcement day. I did an interview with Memerister yesterday about setting, which includes me going off on a like 10-minute rant about a particular puzzle from the video game Wind Waker from 25 years ago, or however long ago Wind Waker came out. So if you're interested to see that, if you missed it yesterday, there's a VOD on Memerister's channel that Tristan can link to, so you can just go check that out. I mean, preferably not now, but you know, get your Zeta however you want to get your Zeta. But I had a lot of fun with that. I think we talked about a lot of cool topics. I think we touched on a lot of neat setting things. And overall, it was a lot of fun. So I'd encourage you to check it out if you have not. And if you have not yet subscribed to Memerister's channel, I encourage you to do so. I think there's a lot of cool stuff in there. Jay Dyer notes that a remarkable amount of her YouTube viewing involves people ranting about Wind Waker. That is more than fair. Alrighty, so all of that brings us to this puzzle. And so for those of you who are new around here, every stream I start with a puzzle that is voted on by the people who support the channel at, roughly speaking, the $10 a month level or higher. So people who do that, they get windmill status, as it is officially known, and they are able to see the list of puzzles that I have coming up on stream, which is just this ever-growing thing. People have suggested wanting a sort of graph of how many puzzles are in it over time, because more cool puzzles come out that I'm able to do. So, but they can see the list and they can vote on puzzles for me to do, and whatever puzzle gets the most votes, that is the puzzle I do at the start of each stream. So we've got that. And yes, to answer, Donatello in chat asked if Memerister also solves Sudoku puzzles on his stream, and he does. You can see on there solves of many neat puzzles, and I think that it is a fun stream for that as well. Although I think he sort of he has the market cornered on YouTube channels that discuss setting of Sudoku at great length, and so that is his specialty, but he does do solving streams, which are a ton of fun. Plus, I should also mention, there are lots of cats. So if you like Sudoku but wish there were more cats randomly involved, Memerister's stream is the stream for you. Alrighty, so my supporters who voted for this puzzle, and thank you very much to all of you who support the channel in whatever way you support the channel, but the supporters who voted for this puzzle are Niverio, who I think this puzzle was inspired by, possibly, Ken, Doomdiat, Luda, Josh, Tallcat, Russ, David, and Wisteria. So this solve is dedicated to all of you. And so let's look at the rules. So when I saw the grid, I was like, oh, it's just a few standard lines, all well and good. But actually, I think you have to completely disregard the color of these lines, if I understand the rules correctly. Maybe I should read the LMD page and double check that that's correct, that I correctly understand what this is, what's going on here. Yes, okay. So the colors of the lines are irrelevant. What's true is that oh, no, it does say it. Never mind. It does say it. It says in here. It is cropped off the bottom of your screen. Sorry, the Zeta got too big. There you go, Kurabon. Okay, so sorry, I read the thing that said each line obeys two constraints and then just assumed the rest of it didn't have anything that I needed to know, but the rest of it does say that things are the things that you think they are. So this line is an entropic line, because all beige lines are entropic lines, or orange lines, if you can call this orange. I have to really stretch my brain to believe that this is orange, but I'll go with it. So this line is an entropic line and one other thing. This line is a region sum line and one other thing. This is a whisper and one other thing. So it is not, in fact, irrelevant. I was originally reading this and being like, oh my god, I have to look at this and somehow wonder whether it's a Ren Ban or not, which would be a lovely troll, but I'm somewhat glad that it does not work that way. We probably need to put a betting tree in the grid. If anyone knows a good betting tree for this, otherwise I'm probably going to guess here, and to do that. But if someone suggests a different betting tree, I will accept that. So I should probably say how each of these constraints works, with the caveat that, of course, each of these lines is two things, not just one. Donatello suggests row 9, column 7. Okay, I'll go with row 9, column 7. So if you want to change your bet based on the fact that it's row 9, column 7, by all means. I think it's much less likely to be 9 if it's down here, but whatever. All right, so how do each of these line things work? Entropic lines are chopped up into segments of 3. So every string of 3 digits along an entropic line needs to have 1 digit from 1, 2, 3, 1 from 4, 5, 6, and 1 from 7, 8, 9. They don't need to go in this order. But then every string of 3 does. So if this was from 1, 2, 3, and these two are from 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9, this one would be from 1, 2, 3 again, and then this one would be from 4, 5, 6 again, and then et cetera, down the line. I think that's the least common constraint out of these, although it's becoming more common. One of the things that somehow kept coming up in the interview yesterday was that I don't think German whispers are a super exciting constraint overall. I think part of the reason why German whispers aren't a super exciting constraint overall is that entropic lines do everything that German whispers do, but much, much better in a much more interesting way. But nonetheless, we will say what a German whispers line does. So what a German whispers line does is it tells you that every pair of digits along the line have to have a difference of at least 5. So if this is a 2, then this digit has to be at least 7, but it could be an 8, and then that could be a 1, and then this could be a 9, or whatever. That is how German whispers work. Renban just have to be a string of consecutive digits in some order. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is a 7 long. Renban. So it needs to be 7 consecutive digits. But again, any order is fine. So it could be 1, 3, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. That would be fine. It doesn't matter. And then these are region sum lines. The sum of the digits is the same in each box that they pass through. So those digits have the same sum as these digits have the same sum as those digits going along here. That's how blue lines work. But of course, the rule of the puzzle is every one of these lines is also one more thing. Okay, so with that, let's get started. So this line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is 8 long. Okay, I'm going to color this thing. I don't know if it's going to be at all useful, but I'm going to do it anyway. Let's see. So we'll do purple and purple and purple and green and green. I'm just looking at sort of where the things that have the same high mid lowity along this this thing works, and seeing if that tells me anything exciting. I don't think it tells me anything super exciting. There are lots of lines where I can rule out things pretty easily, but I have to rule out. Oh, I guess I only have to rule out two things, don't I? If I can rule out two things that a line can be, then I know what it is, because there's only 4 options total. So okay, so I was thinking that it was not going to be a productive place to start by asking what things couldn't be things, but I actually think it is. So here's a good point. A whisper can never be a Renban. So if you do these puzzles much, you realize that whispers can never be Renbans, because whispers always have a digit greater than 5 and a digit less than 5 and never have a 5. And so they can never be a Renban. So this line here can only be also entropic. There really are 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's really 4. So this is a whisper. It's not a Renban. And so the question is it entropic or is it a region sum line? It being a region sum line is going to be pretty hard to manage, because if this is a whisper line, let's see, it's going to need to have either 2 high digits on it in this box, in which case then there's no way I can possibly make this work, or it's going to have 1 high digit on it here and 2 low digits here, but then that means this digit's at least a 7. And these 2 are each at least 1, and they can't both be 1. So that would mean this digit would have to be at least a 10. That's not going to work. So this can't be a region sum line or a Renban. So this is also an entropic line. So that's very interesting. So I'm going to erase my entropic line coloring for now, but this is also an entropic line. So what that means is one of these 3 cells and one of these 3 cells is a middling digit. So one of them has to be a 4, 5, or 6. And it's not a 4 or a, sorry, and it's not a 5, because you can't put a 5 on a German whispers line at all. And neither of these 2 digits can be a 4 or a 6, because if either of these digits was a 4 or a 6, you would put 2 of the opposite number on here. So just if you've never seen this before, if you put a 4 on a German whispers line, these would both have to be 9, and Sven doesn't like that. If this were a 6, these would both have to be 1, and Sven doesn't like that much either. So when I say one of these 3 has to be a 4 or a 6, and neither of these can be a 4 or a 6, that means that's a 4 or a 6. But one of these 3 also has to be a 4 or a 6, and these 2 can't be a 4 or a 6, so that's a 4, 6. So we get a 4, 6 pair. And again, that's going to give us a 1, 9 pair for free. Going over like that. I think what I'm going to try doing here to denote this is I'm going to try, and that looks just nauseatingly horrible, but that makes me kind of like it. I'm drawing an orange line on top of the green line so that I know that it is both a German whispers and an entropic line. Sadly, I don't have a pleasant-looking peach as an option for a color. I've just got this very aggressive-looking orange. But we will make do with the very aggressive-looking orange. So we've got that. Which doesn't immediately seem to tell me a lot. Okay, how is this secretly telling me something that's interesting? So I probably have a 4, 6 on there. Yeah, I probably need to think about other lines and what they can and can't be, huh? So it's going to be hard for a lot of these lines to be whispers, actually. So I'm trying to look and see if this... Okay, so here's the thing that's interesting. No, maybe it's not. Never mind. Sorry, I was going to say something that was not true. I was thinking, oh, I can't put a 4, 6 here if this is also a whisper, but I know this isn't a whisper. So this can't be a whisper because, as I noted, Renban and whispers never go together. So this is either a region sum line. Do I know it can't be a region sum line? I think I know it can't be a region sum line, right? No, it could be a region. So the thing I'm thinking about is if this is a region sum line, the total sum of the digits on it has to be divisible by 3. Because if it's not, then I can't possibly break this into 3 equal pieces. So the only digits that could be on here, if this is a region sum line, are, in fact, exactly 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Otherwise, it does not work. I don't believe... Oh, no, it could be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, that doesn't work, does it? No, that doesn't work. Right, it would have to be this, or probably that would work too, right? No, that can't work. No. Okay, what is it I need? In order for this number to be divisible by 3, I need to start with 45, and I need to remove 2 numbers that sum to a multiple of 3. So I can't remove the 9 at all, because the 9 is a multiple of 3, and if I remove the 9, that means I need to remove another multiple of 3, and I don't have another multiple of 3 to remove. But as soon as I tell you I have a Renban and I can't remove the 9, then I've forced it to be exactly this. So if this is a region sum line, it's exactly these digits for whatever that's worth, and that would make these two a 1-2 pair, which seems almost certainly to be the case, or almost certainly to be what happens. But what's the other option? The other option is that this is an entropic line. If this is an entropic line, let's see, what is that going to tell me? Then I'm going to have some high, mid, lows. I'm going to need to make sure I have some appropriate mixture of those, but I'm going to have 3 of 2 things and 2 of another. That's probably okay. So I think the short version is that this is not the right place to look, but I also am pretty confident that these 2 cells are going to be a 1-2 pair, because I think it's going to turn out that that's how this works, but we'll see. Let's look at this combo. So here, so if this is a Renban, I'm noticing that these 2 digits go here. And that's an interesting restriction to have happen. If this is a German whisper... Okay, there's no way this is a German whisper, because if this is a German whisper, this is 1 high digit and 1 low digit, and this is 2 high digits and 2 low digits. 2 high digits and 2 low digits add to a minimum of 8, 9 plus 1, 2, which is 20. I can't make these add to 20. So this can't possibly be these can't possibly be a German whisper. That's just straight out. So this is either a Renban or the other one, or an entropic line. So wait, did I do that wrong? Maybe I did that wrong. Sorry. 8, 9, 1, 2 is not the minimum. The minimum is 6, 7, 1, 2. So the minimum is 15. Still way too big. But right, the minimum is actually 6, 7, 1, 2, because the lowest high digits are not 8 and 9. But these 2 cells can never sum to 15. So I don't have to worry about that. So Jay, though, has a gorgeous parity argument, which is that if this is a Renban, its sum is odd. And the reason for that is because it contains 3 pairs of consecutive digits, and every pair of consecutive digits sums to an odd number. 3 odds is an odd. So if this is a Renban, it sums to an odd number, but it's a region sum line with 2 regions, so it definitely sums to an even number, so it can't be a Renban. And so we've actually argued, in fact, this is also an entropic line, is the upshot there. So you can sort of faintly see the light blue around here. It's not the... I do wish this was thicker so this showed through a little bit better, but that'll do. So let me just color these in a nonsense coloring first, and then we'll think about what the actual coloring is. So we'll do that. Those two are the same. This black definitely isn't high. Because if black is high, the sum of these is at least 17, and these two are not high, so that doesn't work. So black is not high. So black is either low or middle when I go to look at my region sum lines thing. Now, if black is middle, we might also run into a problem, because if black is middle, these sum to at least 9. One of these is high and one of them is a low. So that would be 4, 5, plus 7 plus 1 is my minimum. Yeah, that's too high. Yep, 4, 5 plus... So the minimum here, if these were medium, would be 4, 5 plus 7 plus 1, which is 17. And I can make two cells sum to 17, except that then these would have to be 8 and 9, and they can't be. So these can't be 4, 5, 6. So these are 1, 2, 3. And so these digits are from therefore 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I've got to look at where the black digit is in the string of these, maybe. Maybe not quite yet. We're getting there. I know there's a 4 or 6 in here because these 4 6s look down here, and I can only put 1, 4, 6 here. So there's 1, 4, 6 here for sure. Which is a tragic outcome, but what are you going to do? I could ask should I bother thinking about what the maximum here is? The maximum here is 6 plus 9 is 15, so these need to sum to at most 15. So that means there can't possibly be a 9 here at least, so that's actually profitable. The maximum these sum to is 15, because it's 9 plus 6, which is 15. If I put a 9 down here, I can't make these sum to 15, because that would need to be 9 and 1, 2, 3, and I can't do that. What about 8? Can I put an 8 down here? If I put an 8 down here, then I'm at minimum 8 plus 4 plus 3. 8 plus 4 plus 3 is 15. So I think 8, 4, 3 actually just skates into the realm of possible. Sorry, by 8, 4, 3, I mean 8, 4, and then a 1 and a 2. So the 8 works out, I believe, down there. I think that's okay. So by the way, I can change this. I wasn't intending to keep it black. We're going to make those blue, because blue is the universally agreed symbol for low in Sudoku. Okay. Can I rule out this being something? Let's see. Oh, so 6 is ruled out because of the 1 degree of freedom. So the thing people in chat are talking about is they're counting, like, what's the absolute minimum this could be? The absolute minimum this could be is 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 7. And 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 7 is 14. Whereas this needs to be a maximum of 15. So that does say that there is 1 degree of freedom. And so that means I can't include a 6 down here. Because if I include a 6 down here, then my 14 becomes 16. So 6 is actually ruled out of being one of the ones down here. And I know that these sum to at least 14. And so I can't do that with a 4. Thank you. I can't do that with a 7 either. Because a 7 won't get me there. So we can sort of reduce these to 5, 6, 8, 9, which I think is... Okay, actually, is it possible that any of these digits are the same as these digits? I think that's the question. If one of these digits is equal to one of these digits... then is that possible? So let's say that one of these is a 9 and that's a 9. So then I would need these to add to 5 or 6. Well, that's not possible. I feel like there's a smart way to say that these two digits are these two digits. But I can't quite see it yet. In an elegant way, but I'm almost sure it's true. I do know that one of these has to be a 1, as Chad has pointed out. So let's see. So I'm trying to think about this. So if three of these digits sum to one of these digits, it would have to be the two blues, which sum to 3 or 4, plus the medium, which would be 4 or 5. And that seems plausible. Oh, okay. Here's a very smart point from chat. I have a 4-6 pair looking down here. That tells me that there's a 6 in one of these two cells. So there is no 6 in these two cells. So there's definitely a 5 in here. The middle digit here is a 5. Okay, but now my maximum is no longer 15. Now my maximum is 14. And so as soon as that happens, these do sum to 14, and I need to strip off all of my degrees of freedom. Because now... Uh-oh. I didn't do that right. What did I do wrong? Am I wrong? Somehow I'm wrong. I thought I only had 1 degree of freedom. How do I have 2? Oh! Because I'm being a silly zeta. These sum to at least 14, but these now sum to 14. But the point is, these are different high-lowities, so it needs to be 4, 7. These are 1, 2. That adds to 14 like it's supposed to. There we go. Okay. We are in good shape. Okay, and so as predicted, this is a 5-9 pair, and we get a digit. Because that 5-9 pair now looks up at this, and we're going to get a 1. We're going to get to bring out Zach for the famous 1 dance. Woohoo! Ba-ba-da! Woohoo! Ba-ba-da! Woohoo! Ba-ba-da! Woo! Woo! Ha-ha! Hee! Waha! Hee! Da-da-da-da-da-da! Da-da-da-da-da! Waha! Thank you, Zach. Thank you. So that's a 9, and so that's a 6 and a 4. These digits are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Of course, that one's not 6. So these digits now are 1, 2, 3, 4. I see. That's awesome. That's awesome. I see what this did. No, I don't. I was thinking that I was forcing one of these to be 1 or 2, but I don't think one of these is forced to be 1 or 2. But I was thinking if I force one of these to be 1 or 2, it tells me that this Renban can't be a region sum line by maths. Garion has it. Okay, Garion has it. So it is that, but it's that in a more subtle way. So reminder real quick, the only way this could be a region sum line is if it was exactly that combination with a 6 in there, because it would need to be divisible by 3, and this is the only length 7 Renban that's divisible by 3. But these two cells see the entire Renban, so if the Renban does look like this, these two cells are 1, 2. But that now breaks because there's a 1, 2 pair here. So no longer is it possible for this Renban to be a region sum line in addition. We already said it can't be a whisper. Oh, sorry, I wanted to back up one more space because I wanted to put these in. So in fact, this Renban is also an entropic line. Okay. Just phenomenal setting as we have come to expect. Let's see. Also, as always, I'm very grateful that I have chat here to remind me of things I said 10 minutes ago. Yeah, I think it turns out we're going to need to prove that every line is also an entropic line. That seems to be the theme of the puzzle so far. Let's see. Yes, all the lines are going to end up being entropic. We only have one line that might not be an entropic line. So we've got that going on. This 1, 2 looking over here is very interesting. Okay, so I know something about these cells because these cells now are missing from a 7-cell Renban, and the only digits that can be missing from a 7-cell Renban are 1, 2, and 8, 9. In fact, if I'd have been a smarter Zeta, I would have filled that in immediately, because 1, 2, and 8, 9 are the only cells you can omit from a length 7 Renban, which means this one can't be a 1 or a 2 now, so this is only an 8 or a 9. So this cell's definitely high. So that is worth noting. Yeah, I mean, I might as well just draw in an orange entropy thing on that. 1 second. I need to take a real quick break. I'll be back in just a second. I'm back. Don't worry, we did not finish the puzzle yet. Okay, so chat, as I was leaving, was pointing out, no, it wasn't a boiler incident. It was a Zeta drinking a bunch of tea incident. So it's being pointed out, I need to sort of bounce around the entropies on this line. And so I'm just going to, without regard to the fact that I've also used gray. In fact, I can get rid of these over here and just have the blue marked. But I want to mark this so that I can illustrate the point the chat was making, which is really brilliant. Which is this entropy, whatever it is, shows up 3 times on this Renban. Well, all the other entropies, this one, for example, and this one, they only show up twice. Well, which entropy needs to show up 3 times on a length 7 Renban? And the answer is middle. Middle had better show up on a length 7 Renban 3 times. Because if I don't have 4, 5, 6 on a length 7 Renban, it's not actually a Renban. So in other words, this is a 4. So that's not a 4. And these are a 5, 6 pair. And we can place the 4 in the column. It's there. And in fact, we can resolve that that's a 5 and a 6. There. These aren't 4. I can get rid of the coloring now because I don't think it's super relevant. But that was that was the cool thing that was noticed there. I can actually, since I know these are all medium, I can color them yellow, since yellow is the high-lowity for that. But yeah, that's super cool. Like always, we are in awesome sauce territory. Okay. So we've got that. Okay, so where is 4 in this box? 4 in this box, because it can't repeat on the Renban, is in one of these 2 cells. Seems like something that's likely to be relevant at some point. This cell almost, but not quite, can't be medium. But if it's medium, it's a 5, unfortunately. Let's see. Garion points out wisely, it can't be that the things that are missing from this Renban are Sorry, I'm trying to think about the intelligent way to phrase this. So the things that are missing from this Renban, what could they be? They could be 8 and 9. I think that's okay. So this could be an 8-9 pair. But they could never be a 1. There could never be a 2 here, is the point. If this digit is 2, then what I'm saying is that the digits that are missing from this Renban include a 2, but don't include a 1. So this can never be a 2. I think that's the point. But also smart, we actually know what is on here because, and this is the thing I hadn't appreciated, if the Renban was 1, 2, 3, so that was a true point, but it was not at all the point I should have been looking at. I know there's 2 highs and 2 lows on this Renban because it's an entropic line. And so the 2 lows have to be 2 and 3, and the 2 highs have to be 7 and 8. And so there's no 1 on this line at all, and we can actually fill in that it is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so that means that this is a 9 and that's a 1. Okay, so yeah, if we pay close attention, we get that. I'm quiet, says Tristan. My mic input level is at maximum, I think. Let me check on Windows sound, perhaps. Let's see. Okay, where does it say my mic level input is? Ah, I am quiet. Okay, I think I'm louder now. Is that better? Do we like that? Because I'm now going to be much louder. But if that's too loud, I can unlouden. It's definitely louder. I don't know if saying it's definitely louder means it's better or not. Now it's really loud. Let's see, I can go down to, like, here. I mean, I can go back where I was that Tristan didn't like it if everyone else liked it. Let me know how it is. I will leave it up. Okay, this is good. I will leave it here, but feel free to point this out if this happens in the future. Somehow my laptop has taken to moving around the mic and the mic settings every time I stream. So it used to always be consistent, but it's not anymore. Anyway, that 2-7 pair looks here and makes this a 1, which perforates blues along here. So this is a 1, 2, or 3. This 9 looks over at this 5 and this 9. So this 5 is yellow. This 9 is orange. This, well, I already knew there was going to be a 9 there anyway, so I guess that's not super exciting. So let's see. So one of these is yellow, but I don't know which yet. Man, Tristan is the only one who ever has problems with my audio. One moment. Okay, there we go. Now the filter has been redone. So we have that all set up. So let's see. This 9 is orange and this 1 is blue. That is important. So we've got a 9 in here somewhere. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so this has 2 lows. Let's see. I'm trying to follow along with people's argument that this can't be a Renban anymore. So if this tried to be a Renban, these would all need to be medium. Oh, right. Okay, sorry. Liam has the elegant way to say it. There's a 1 on this Renban, but only 2 low numbers on it. And so this isn't really a Renban, is the point. Because as soon as I have a 1, but only 2 low digits, it can't be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is what it would have to be. So this is not a Renban. And so this either has to also be a region sum line, which probably is, or also be a German whispers, which is probably going to be difficult. So in particular, this cell can't be 4 or 6, which is going to make it impossible for this to be a German whispers, I believe, because I would need one of these 3 digits to be medium in order to make this a German whispers. That one's already not medium. This one's not medium because it sees a 4 and a 6. And if this was 4 or 6, it would make these two both 1 or both 9, neither of which is possible. Or alternatively, if you prefer, I like my proof. I think that's the intended one, but people also point out, actually, these lows are the wrong distance apart. So this low, this is a little bit more complicated, but the low would be here if this were a whisper. So it's not a whisper. It's a region sum line. Any which way you cut it, this is a region sum line. I mean, maybe that is simpler. It's not what I was looking for. We'll put it that way. So we've got that going on. Let's see. What else can I do? Is there any Sudoku stuff I can do? So 9 and 1 are over there. That's not super exciting. Let's see. Clever from Ambrose. There's no 4 on this line, so it can't be a Renban anymore. Because this 4 sees almost the whole line, but this 4 takes care of the other 2 cells. Or if you want these 2 4s sort of tag team these 2 cells together, however you want to think about it. So there's no way this is a Renban. So this is either also entropic, which we've got to assume is what happens, or it's also a German whispers. Oh, we get a $10 donation from David for Zach stealing the show yesterday and being the star. Thank you, David. Zach also says thank you. And Zach is a bit of a prima donna, so he's always happy to steal the camera and be the star of the show. And he will give you a nice little donation dance. Woohoo! Woohoo! Thank you so much, David. Thank you very much. Always appreciate your support on the stream, and always great to have you here. So this is not a Renban. Either is a whispers, which I think feels unlikely to me, but I don't immediately think I know that it's not a whispers. Or it is also entropic. If it is entropic, I need to put a 6 in one of these 2 cells. That cell can't be 4, 5, or 6 for whatever reason. Oh, do I need to turn down the alert volume or something? Tristan is very unhappy that his settings have been messed with. But I promise I was not the one to mess with them. Okay. I know there's a 9 in one of these cells. I can pencil mark these. There's not that many options. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It wasn't the most satisfying thing ever. Okay. How do I decide? Maybe I should just think about the thing I know it is, which is that I know that it's a region sum line. Can I do anything with that? Sadly, I don't think I quite do. Maybe I should be looking at this line, because I know this is both a region sum line and the other thing. So these are certainly a medium and a high. Is it possible the medium isn't a 6? So what is the... I think that's the thing to look at here, is to think about the minimum here. Because the minimum that these 2 sum to is 4 and 7. So that is to say the minimum sum here is 12. So here it could also be maybe 4 and 7 adding to 12. So I need these 2 to add to at least 12. I guess there's a little flexibility there. Okay, I'm gonna do as Garion asks and say, imagine that this is entropic, in which case the coloring is going to look like this. And so let's see if there's something here that will magically tell. So this could never, so gray could never be middle, is one point. Because gray sees 4, 5, and 6. So middle would have to be one of these two in order for this to work. Would be one of those two. One of those two would be a 6. And so one of these two is middle. Yeah, this does look suspicious because of the fact that these two are supposed to have the same sum, but they are made up of different things. I don't think that could possibly balance out, right? So, so the fact that this is black and light gray, and this is light gray and dark gray, can I possibly make that up? I guess I could think of it this way. This is minimum 167. 167 would be 14. So that means both of these would have to sum to 14. So light gray would have to be high, but actually every way of making 14 and 2 requires both a medium and a high. I can't use a low and a 2-cell sum to 14. So I think that's the way to think about it. I think that's the most efficient way to do it. The minimum sum of these is 14, but because these don't match, they can't both be high medium, which is the only way to make 14. I think there's a lot of ways to see it, but that definitely does it. So this can't be entropic, tragically. Yes, Judith is correct. It is also something else. So it's not also entropic, however. And it's not Renban by our previous argument because it doesn't have a 4 on it. So it's not entropic and it's not Renban. It's also a whispers. So we now know that it is German whispers. So now we can color it based on German whispers. Like that and that. And so the point is, I better not make light gray high, because if I make light gray high, that means the minimum sum of these two cells is 6 plus 7, which would be 13 and 14. And again, I can't make these two add to 14 no matter how hard I try, because one of them is low, and so I can't get to 14. So that's not, so these aren't low, sorry, so these aren't high, and therefore they are low. Sorry, they're German whisper low, they're not entropic low. So I just have to write 1, 2, 3, 4 in them, and write 7, 8, 9 in here, and then get rid of the coloring is fine. So I can, oops, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that, oops, get rid of that. And so I can actually color, I can color all of this. Those are entropic low. These are entropic high. Oh, I forgot a 6. Oh, I forgot 6. Sorry for the for these. These can be 6, except that one can't be 6. Sorry, I don't know how I forgot 6. Poor 6. Anyway, these are really entropic low, though. It is true. They all see a 4. And these are, sorry, that one's entropic high. This one can't possibly be a 6 because it sees 2 cells and they can't both be 1. So that one's entropic high. If this was a 7, these would need to be 1 and 2, and the sum would be 10. Is it possible that both of these sum to 10? I think so. But what's not possible is that this is a 6, because if this is a 6, and this is Martin's point, if this is a 6, these would be 6 and 1, and the sum would be 7, but I can't possibly make either of these add to 7. So this is never 6, so it is entropic high. So I completely forgot about 6, but in fact there are no 6s. This can't be a 7 either, because the minimum sum of these is 10, and if this is a 7, I can't make these sum to 10. So that can't be a 7, and that can't be a 7. So these are each 8 or 9. So that's because 7 and 3 can't go next to each other on a whisper line. If you were curious how I got that conclusion. I think this is going to have to be a 1, isn't it? If this isn't a 1, then this is a 2-3 pair looking at an 8, which would sum to 13, and I can't make either of these sum to 13. So this is definitely a 1. Otherwise, things don't work. So one of these two is definitely a 1, for what it's worth, just Sudoku-logically. This is a 2 or a 3. If this is a 3, then these are 3 and 8, and that makes the sum 12. Oh, and I can't get... Oh, I could get this to 12 if this were 3 and 9. But I couldn't get this to 12 because this would be a 3. That's the point. So if this is a 3, this is a little complicated, but it's not too bad. If this is a 3, the sum is 12, but I can't make these add to 12 because I made this a 3. So this is a 2. So no 2 there, no 2 there. Okay. So we've got that there, like that. Let's see. Annoyingly, 8 and 3 are 5 apart, which is very unfortunate. Let's see. So if this is a 1, that's a 9, which makes the sum 10, which makes that a 7. Means these need to be 1 and 9 as well. Is it possible that both of these are 1 and 9? It is not possible that both of these are 1 and 9. Because if both of these are 1 and 9, I can't put 9 in this box. But it's possible that this sum here is 10, and this is 2, 8, and this is 1, 9, I think. So that's interesting. I think it's not possible that both of these are 2, 8 either. I think this is going to tell me that one of these has to be, one of these definitely has to be 8, I guess is the point. One of these two is 8. I don't know that that in and of itself tells me much, but one of these two is 8. Let's see. Oh, that's fascinating. Okay, so Ambrose points out, if this is an 8, the only way to make these two sum to 11 now, because of that 2, is that this is 8 and 3. But if these are both 8, it rules 8 out of this box entirely. So Ambrose is correct. This can't be an 8, because as soon as this is an 8, we rule 8 out of this box. That's really cool. Okay, so that's a 7. That does make the sum 10. This is now a 2, and that's a 7. Which is high, although it feels like it's sort of a medium-ish high, if I have to say so. It's a very bizarre step. So now that the sum is 10, I need to make these two sum to 10. It can't be 8 and 2, so it has to be 9 and 1. But now that 9 places this 9 here, which makes that an 8, which makes that a 2, which makes that a 1. Makes this a 3 or a 7. Makes that not a 1. These digits are some number of things. Let's see. These are from 3, 8, and something else. And 6. 3, 8, and 6. Right. And so this is the 6. Because there's only one place for a 6 in the box now. There's a 6 in one of these two cells now. This 7 here on this line, remember this is also an entropic line, so it tells me that this digit has to be high as well. And once I know that digit also has to be high, it has to be an 8, and then these two have to be low. And so therefore that's a 3 and that's a 2, and therefore this cell is orange. So we've got all of that sort of filled in. This column only has a triple left, which are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3, 5, and 7. So this is just a naked single 3. This is a naked single 5 now. This is a naked single 7. There's a pointing octojovi in the column, as we have been wont to say around here lately. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so these are from 3, 4, 5. That's 3 or 5. These are a pair. They are 6 and 8. We've got that going on like that. This is a triple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is a triple. So these are from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So those aren't 8. So that is 8. These are 2, 4. Oops, that's not 8 or 9, as despite my attempting to fill 9 into the cell. That's 3 or 6. So this is now also a triple. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, they're just all yellow. Sweet. So these are 3, 7, 9. Up there in some order. So we've got all of that stuff going on. There's a 3, 8 pair in column 9, SPQ points out. Beautiful. So that makes that the orange 7. Makes that not 7 or 8 or 3. It just makes that the blue 2. Which now makes this the blue 3, which is interesting because that's actually making this sum, which was already going to be big because there's 3 things on it, it makes it even bigger. Makes that orange. Makes those two not orange, makes that not a 3. Okay, so now the minimum of this sum is now 3, 6, 7. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so the minimum that this sum can be now, because remember this is also a region sum line, is 3, 6, 7. No, 3, 4, 7. 3, 4, 7, which is 14 now. So I need to get this 2-cell thing to sum to 14. I can't use double 7. Sorry, and so I should be clear. It needs to sum to at least 14. So if I'm going to get to at least 14, my high needs to be an 8 or a 9. And then my medium needs to be a 6. No, I could do 5 and 9. Darn it. Okay, so we're not quite there, but this 3 puts us very close to having enough pressure to sort of bake this in. Okay, maybe I should look at Sudoku here. Where is the 9 in this box? The 9 in this box is in one of these 2 cells. Where's the 8 in this box? The 8 in this box, the 8 in the box has 3 cells that it could go in. The 8 over in this box, I guess, has a handful of cells that it can go in. This box doesn't have a 9 on the line. And it has a 1 there. So in this box, actually, we have a little bit more going on. So in this box, actually, the maximum sum is, I guess, 8 plus 6. 8 plus 6 would be 14, would make this 15, annoyingly. So 14 or 15 are our only options for the sum. So that is interesting. Okay, I'm going to fill in candidates because it's possible that if I actually write in candidates for these various quads, that it will become more clear what's going on. So we've got a 2 and a 3 left to put in the row. We already have a 4 and a 5. We need a 6. We've got a 7. We need an 8. So that's not 2. That's not 3. That's not 8. These can't be 1, 2, 3. This can't be 3 either because of the entropic line. So this is 6 or 8. Which actually gives us a 6-8 pair in the bottom row. Okay, so I should have been doing more Sudoku is what we're learning. Because now this is a 2, and so this is a 3. This is not a 3, so that's orange. This is a 3, so it's blue. Uh-oh, am I frozen? Some in chat believe I am frozen. I'm going to hope that I'm not frozen until told otherwise. So let's see. So what are these cells from? They're from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so this is we are here now. Okay. There's no way that this could be a 4, right? Because the minimum sum we said is 14. No, sorry, the minimum sum is 16. Sorry, I have to remember, what is the minimum sum? That this is 3 and 4 and 7. The minimum sum is 14. And so because the minimum sum is 14, if I make this a 4, I would need to make this a 9, and I can't. So this can't be a 4, in fact. This is a 6 or a 7. One of these two is a 4. So now, if this is an 8, that's a 6. Which would make the sum 15. Nicholas has a good point, which is that I know one of these is a 6 because the minimum digit has to be the medium digit on this entropic line has to be a 6. So these aren't 6. That is a smart point. So this is like an interesting mix of doing Sudoku and thinking about the region sum lines and the entropic lines all together. This is very cute. So let's see. So let's see. Okay, so Garion wants me to color in my parody here again. So these are light gray. These are black, we'll say. Just to facilitate that. So if black is medium, then this digit's a 5 because it sees 4 and 6. If this is high, it needs to be a 9 exactly. Oh, that doesn't sound good. That sounds bad. So I think this is the point. If this cell is a 9, now suddenly my sum is huge, because now instead of 6, 7, now I'm minimum 9, 3, and 4, and 9, 3, and 4 is 16, and we've already said we can't get to 16 in this box, I think, right? Right, 16 would require these being 7 and 8, which is not possible. So the point actually at the end of all of this was that this cell can't be high, because it would need to be 9. So the whole point of this is that this cell can't be high, so it has to be medium. And so light gray is actually medium. And so then black has to be high. Okay. Also, it is bothering a lot of people that I know that this cell is yellow and I didn't color it as yellow. Which I appreciate because I am also invested in coloring consistency. So now that's going. Once we make that observation, that's sort of tricky to see that 7, 8. But I kept looking for very hard for things that 4, 5, and 6 saw, but it was actually I was supposed to look at this being a 9. But the point is now that tells me how this works out. So that's a 7 and a 6. And so the sum is 14. And so once the sum is 14, that tells me these have to be a 6, 7 pair. Sorry, a 4, 7 pair. I don't know why I keep thinking 6, 7 is the minimum. 4, 7. These have to be a 4, 7 pair. So that's a 7 and that's a 4. And now these need to sum to 14, except the 9 isn't there. The 9 is there. by pencil marks. So I'm not being 14 as 9 and 5. I have to therefore be being 14 as 6 and 8. As 6 and 8. Like that. And so now we're just going to Sudoku all over the place. So that's a 9 and a 7. This is a 3 now. This is an 8. This is a 3. This is a 6. Let's see. This is an 8. This is a 6. This is a 5. This is a 4 and a blue. Pointing Octojovi in row 5. So this is a 5. This is a 6. This is a 2. These aren't 6 anymore. These aren't 7 anymore. This is a 3. No, it's not a 3. This is a 5, which is not blue. Wow, I'm not doing well today. That's a 5. That's a 3. So we've got that all sort of resolved. These are from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is a 1, therefore, if I did that correctly, which I don't have a great deal of faith in at this point, but we'll try it. It's a 7. That's a 5. Let's see. That's a 2 and a 1. So therefore that is a 4 and a 2. These two cells are a 1, which goes there. And a 6, which goes there. These two cells are an 8 and a 9 in some order. Yeah, Naverio made that puzzle, Garion, where there wasn't sort of any lead in to what you didn't get a hint as to what the various lines were going to be. So now what am I missing? I'm clearly missing something. Oh, right. Okay, so the point is I know what this is by the column. And so by the column, I know that this cell is... I mean, I knew that this was a 7, but I didn't see how it was going to help. But it does help because of the entropic line. So it makes that a 9 and a 5. There we go. Okay, these are both orange. I should have colored already. So that is yellow and that is orange. And so we know our betting tree is going to be yellow, but we don't know what it's going to be yet. We'll have to finish some Sudoku to figure it out. 4, 8, 5, 4. And then at the very end, we get to come to the betting tree and see that it is a 4. So congratulations from Zach and I to all of you 4 bettors out there. May all of your betting tree wishes come true today. Nice puzzle. I enjoyed that a lot. A lot of tricksy steps in there, at least the way we did it. I think there were a lot of times where I ended up eventually seeing something in a slightly different way than chat was seeing it. So it's possible that actually all the ways through the puzzle are tricky, but there are a lot of different tricky ways through the puzzle. And so it's not sort of like, I don't know that the solve path is particularly narrow. It's possible that you have to use some sort of like thinking carefully logic, like the step with ruling that Ambrose saw with the ruling 8 out of here was brutal, but it's possible that there are a bunch of different ways to do it that are that hard, but you can choose which one you find. Anyway, very cool puzzle. Yeah, it worked great as a group solve. There were a bunch of different people thinking about the puzzle in a bunch of different ways. And eventually I was able to sort of figure out all the pieces. Hey, Mickey, by the way, welcome. Hope you're doing well. I think it's been a bit since I've seen you around here, but welcome back. I'm going to take a real quick break and pull up another puzzle, and we'll be back. Alrighty, welcome back. Rather on theme with our previous puzzle, We have this puzzle by Oddlyeven, who has set some fantastic puzzles, although I think it's been a bit since I've done an Oddlyeven puzzle on stream, but they've all been excellent. So this is a puzzle where we're just told in advance what kind of line every pair of lines is, which is that every line is both a Renban and a region sum line. So I believe by tradition we should draw over all of these like this, so that we can know what's going on. So we've got that and that and that and that and that and that, and there we go. Alrighty. So we've got that nice thing going on. So I guess I don't really have to explain at length what Renban and region sum lines are and what it means for a line to be both of them, because we just did that. But I should drop a betting tree in this grid somewhere. I'm gonna guess there, but if Mickey or anyone who is it Mickey or Mikey? Has an or other, it could be a different one. But if you have a different betting tree suggestion, I would be happy to move the betting tree if you've done it, because I'm just guessing in the dark. So I'm immediately drawn to this cell. So this is going through 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes. And if this is going through 4 boxes, that means the total is divisible by 4, and the Renban is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 long. Makey? I can do Makey. Is that closer? So 7 long Renban, total divisible by 4. So Mikey. Okay, Mikey. Okay. So 7 long Renban, total divisible by 4. So 4 consecutive digits always sum to something that's 2 mod 4. So we've got 3 other consecutive digits, and 3 consecutive digits, let's just think about it. If I took 1, 2, 3 and added them mod 4, that would give me 2. If I took 2, 3, 4 and added them mod 4, that would give me, why is this so hard? 2, 3, 4 would be 1. If I took 3, 4, 5, that would give me, is that the one I want? 3, 4, 5 would give me, no, that would be 0 mod 4. And so we've got to do the next one, hopefully. It's going to be 4, 5, 6. No, that's not going to work either. How am I getting all the way up here? 5, 6, 7. Let's see. What are the things I want? I really just want 3 consecutive numbers that add to 2 mod 4. Why is this so difficult? No, 1, 2, 3 works. Why did I get 1, 2, 3 wrong? Whenever I did 1, 2, 3 before, I was off, because I was specifically looking for the sum to be 2 mod 4, and the answer is 1, 2, 3. So the answer is my thing that's off of the string of multiples of 4 has to be 1, 2, 3, because otherwise it's not going to sum to something divisible by 4. So I need to be 1, 2, 3 or 4 more than 1, 2, 3, but I can't be 4 more than 1, 2, 3. Because 4 more than 1, 2, 3 would mean I was involving digits that were larger than 9. So then the answer is the only way this works is as 1 through 7. And so 1 through 7 sums to 1 through 7 sums. I'm not looking at Audi's Chameleon. I'm looking at what's included. But I know that any 4 consecutive numbers sum to something that's 2 more than a multiple of 4, so I just sort of shunted that off to the idea, or off to the side. And so then the answer is I need 4 consecutive digits plus 3 digits that are congruent to 1, 2, and 3 mod 4. But then that tells you that the only way that this works is as 1 through 7. And so chat did it by checking all the cases, which is way, way easier because there's only 3 cases and only one of them works. But what can I say? I'll do it in the fancy modular arithmetic way, but you're welcome to just check the 3 cases and see that it has to be 1 through 7. So this Renban is 1 through 7. And so that means it sums to 28, which means that this digit is a 7. And we get to do a rather rapid digit dance. Zach is excited. Woo! Thank you, Zach. Thank you. Much appreciated. So all of these pairs are pairs of things that add to 7. We've got that. So yeah, so these are the 3 ways to add to 7, so that's not super exciting. This Renban is 9 long, so it has a 7 on it somewhere, but the 7's not in this box for sure. These each sum to 15. This sums to 15 without a 7. That's not immediately useful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is also 7 long. So this is 7 long, but it sums to an even number. So that means that the starting number must be even. So the lowest number on this Renban is even. The only way that works is as 2 through 8. Because if I try and make this the only starting number that can possibly be on here, wait, no, sorry, I did that wrong. No, it's the opposite. The lowest number on it has to be odd. Darn it. I was backwards. That's very disappointing. The lowest number on this Renban has to be odd, sadly. That's a little tragic. What about this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is a 7 long line that needs to add to something divisible by 3. Okay, this is the one I should have started with. Because this is the one we A, did in the previous puzzle, and B is the easiest mathematically, which is that this is a 7 long line that needs to sum to a multiple of 3. And the easiest way to think about this is that every 3 consecutive numbers sum to a multiple of 3. And so if I'm a 7 long line, what that means is the lowest digit on the line has to be a multiple of 3. And the only lowest digit on the line that is a multiple of 3 that is possible on a length 7 line is a 3. So this is known to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, this cell sees all of those. That means this cell is a 1 or a 2. And the sum is 42 divided by 3, which is 14. This is the rare time when Chad is complaining I'm being too mathy about things. So these two each need to sum to 14. So there are lots of digits you cannot include in a 2-digit sum to 14, and those digits include 3, 4, and 7. And so if those digits aren't 3, 4, and 7, that means that these are a 5, 6, 8, 9 quad, which means there's no 5, 6, 8, 9 over here. So that's not a 7. So these are 3, 4, and 7. So we've got various other things here that aren't 3, 4, and 7. Maybe that doesn't immediately tell me what's going on. Okay, so this being 5, 6, or 8, 9 doesn't quite tell me what's going on with these, unfortunately. How long? Okay, this one was 9 long again. Okay, so I think now maybe I'm supposed to think about this line, because I know the sum of this line is 15. Is that possible? I don't think that can possibly be possible as a useful step. This is like, by the way, the 4th puzzle I've done where everything is both a Renban and a region sum line. And I think it is the only one that is more than 2 stars, at least so far. Maybe not for you, but at least for me, this has so far felt like more than 2 stars. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so this is also summing to 7. So these are also length 7. So both of these are length 7 Renbans that sum to an even total. Is it possible that the digits on these are the same? Is there a way I can see that can't be the case? Well, what I can do is I can fill in that I know that this digit's 1, 2, or 8, 9, because this Renban here is length 7, and this sees everything on it. So the only digits I can leave off of a length 7 Renban are 1, 2, 8, and 9. And these two digits see the entirety of this length 7 Renban, so they're 1, 2, 8, or 9. I don't know if that's going to help at all, but we've got that. So that's interesting. So is this a thing where I have to think about what happens if I actually leave off 1 and 2? Well, here's a coloring point. I know where these 3 cells go in box 9, because these 3 cells in box 9, they can't repeat on the Renban, and these are the 2 digits that aren't on the Renban, so they go exactly there. I don't think I've ever seen that before, but it's true. So that's pretty interesting unto itself. I wonder if I can do something similar elsewhere. So I think it's not possible that every yellow digit appears on... Maybe it is annoyingly possible that every yellow digit actually shows up here. That would be very upsetting to me. But I suspect I'm supposed to be thinking more about the Renbans than I am currently inclined to think about the Renbans. So is one of these digits a 7? Is there any way that I could possibly know if one of these digits is a 7? I can't imagine that there is. Unfortunately. Weird. Okay, so... No, I don't think so. Okay. Right. Okay. There we go. SPQ points it out. Okay. I don't know that this is actually super useful. But it is true, and it does answer the question I was trying to answer. These 3 orange digits, which are on this Renban, how many of them can I fit on this Renban? And the answer is at most 2. So they are not the same, is the point. So that's interesting. Okay. So I do know that these are different. They need to overlap in at least 5 digits. But they might overlap in 6. Oh, Isabella has a... Oh, wait, is that true? I know that 1 and 9 are in this box, so 1 and 9 both end up in on Renban here. Oh, is it not possible for 1 or 9 to end up here? It's not possible for 1 or 9 to end on this Renban. That's cool. Because if 1 or 9 ends up on this Renban... Oh, no, this Renban isn't 6 long, it's 5 long. Sorry, I thought this Renban was 6 long, so it definitely had an odd sum, but that's obviously not the case. Okay, so what do I know about this when it's got to sum to something even? 4 consecutive numbers always sum to an even number, so the lowest number on here has to be even. Because the way I'm thinking about this, just because chat keeps being uncertain about what I'm thinking about, I know that 4 consecutive numbers always has to sum to an even number because it's odd, even, in some order. And so the parity of this line is just the parity of the lowest digit, because if you pluck the lowest digit off, then you've got 4 consecutive numbers. And so what that says is the lowest digit on this line has to be even. And it would work equally well for the highest number. The highest digit on this line has to be even. And so what that means is there's neither a 1 nor a 9 on this line. And so the 1 and the 9 in this box live over in this zone. And certainly the 1 and the 9, this is very cool, by the way. And hey, by the way, Kai, The 1 and the 9 over here live in this box, and of course they don't live on the same length 7 Renban. They live on different length 7 Renbans. So one of these length 7 Renbans is 1 through 7, and one of these length 7 Renbans is 3 through 9. Okay. And so that's actually going to let me figure out the total here. Because one of these, it's 1 through 7, sums to 28, and that line sums to 4, and so therefore each half sums to 14. So one of these two triominoes sums to 14. The other is the numbers 3 through 9, which sum to 42, and so therefore that is to say that each pair of lines sums to 21. And so one of these sums to 21 and one of them sums to 14. That's together saying they sum to 45. So these sum to 10 without using a 1, and so therefore these are 2, 3, and 5. Because that's the only way to sum to 10 without using a 1. And so now I need these two to sum to 10 without using a 2, 3, and 5, but with using a 4, because in order for this to be a Renban, I need to be using a 4, and so these are 4, 6. Okay. This is a very cool puzzle. So I've got my 4 and my 6 here. I've got my 2, 3, 5 here. Interesting. Try to see if I'm supposed to think about something with the 2, 3, 5, but I don't think I can quite think about anything. I mean, I know that yellow isn't 2, 3, 5 at least. But who knows beyond that? I do not. So the totals were, just to remind myself, they were 14 and 21 are the two totals that I'm going for. So 14 with a 1. So one of these, and I have no idea how I'm supposed to write this in a way that is smart, but one of these is a 1, 6, 7, because that's the only way it works. And so one of those two is a 1, 6, 7, because in order to get to 14 with a 1 from a length 7 Renban, it has to be 1, 6, 7. And so then the other one is going to be a 9, 8, and a 4 in order to get to 21. So one of these is 1, 6, 7. One of them is 4, 8, 9 for sure. I'm just going to write these here, and I'll put them in circles just so that we remember that they're not actual candidates, maybe possibly. But we've got there. Oh, Jay has a point here. Is the thing I'm supposed to know here... Yeah, I'd like a notepad. If I could have a notepad, Sven, that would be very cool. Like, just a little tiny notepad would be fine, but I'd love a way to, like, write on the screen in a way that is nice. Like a little, just give me a 3x3 box here that I can turn on, that I can write on, as a way to draw things in and whatnot. So is the point that a 3-cell 15 always involves a high, a mid, and a low? Unless it's 4, 5, 6 exactly. I think that's a thing I remember hearing at some point, but I have no idea why it's got to be true. So I guess the question is, can I use a low and 2 highs? And the answer is no, I can't use a low and 2 highs. Can I use a high and 2 lows? And the answer is no, I won't get there. So yeah, so here's a weird fact about 15s, which is that if you're going to make a sum to 15 and 3, you always need to be... Excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry. If you're going to make a 15 sum, you either make it exactly 4, 5, 6, or you make it an entropic low, an entropic mid, and an entropic high. And so we always need an entropic mid number. And we have used 4, 6 here, so there's always a 5 here. That was Jay's point, which is glorious. So this is a 5 and a low and a high. And so now we look at 5 on this line, because this line needs a 5. But look at the 2, 3, 5 here. It's ruling 5 out of here, and it's ruling 5 out of these. So this line, which, remember, every length 7 Renban needs a 5, that 5 goes here. And so now the 5 on this Renban's actually placed, which then, remember, these two sum to 14. And so these are not 5 and 9. They're 6 and 8. So these aren't 6 and 8. They're 5 and 9. Good Lord. That's crazy. In the best possible way. This isn't an 8 anymore. So this is 1, 2, or 9. Yes, it feels like, oddly, for once, the 5 was the hard worked 4 digit and the 7 was the gimme. You almost never see that in puzzles. Usually the 5s are the pretty slovenly sort of digits. But this was very cool. Okay, so I'm just looking to eyeball and make sure I don't see any Sudoku logical reason why this can't be 1, 6, 7 or 4, 8, 9 and vice versa. So I guess that tells me these 3 yellow cells, I could think of it this way. These 3 yellow cells are either 4, 8, 9 or they're 1, 6, 7. If they're 4, 8, 9, well then of course this is a 1, 2 pair. If they're 1, 6, 7, there's a little flexibility. There's not a 1 and a 9 on it. There's a 1 on one of these and a 9 on the other, Jason. Because there's 2 7-cell Renban. So this is a 1, 9 pencil mark for the box. But I don't know exactly how they're sort of set. And by the way, welcome, Jason. Let's see. FGM points out there's always a 3 on a length 3 Renban, so I know there's a 3 in one of these cells. I don't know if that's within my realm of I'm definitely going to pencil mark that or not. Well, and I guess the 3 isn't there. Okay, fine. I'll pencil mark a 3 into 3 places. And actually in this one, oh no, it's even better. No, it is great. It's great, because where does the 3 go up here? The 3 on this Renban can't go there or there or there, so the 3 goes here, but that actually rules the 3 off of there. Okay, so FJM's point I did not originally appreciate, but is fantastic. It gets me this 3. So that is fantastic. So that 3 looks over here, so this is no longer 3, 5, 7. So now I know the 7 in this box isn't on this line. So this 3 tells me the 7 is in one of these two. So the 7 is now in one of those 2 cells. Weirdly. Now, I'm trying to convince myself that the 7, I know which of these is the 7. The 7 could absolutely be here, I think, because this could be 1, 6, 7. If this is the 7, this is 1, 6, 7. If this is the 7, then this is 4, 8, 9. 7 on the line in box 4. Ah, right. There's a 7 over here as well that I just completely distracted myself, but this is a length 9 Renban. It definitely has a 7 on it, and we now know the 7 isn't there, and it isn't there. I was mostly fixated on this 7 over here, which I do think is interesting, but this 7 is certainly freebier. And so now this is a 7 and a 3-cell sum to 15. And so my 3-cell sum to 15 now only has 2 options. Because of the lack of 5. So the middle digit's either a 4 or a 6. And then, oh no, it's forced. It's forced because I can't use a 4. If I use a 4 with the 7, then I need to use a second 4. So the only middle digit that can go here is a 6. But if I use a 6 and a 7, and I'm adding to 15, then the other is a 2. So this is actually a 2, 6, 7 triple, gorgeously, which tells me that this 7 sum now is not 2, 5, and it's not 1, 6, so it's 3, 4. So we're making yet more progress. And now this one I know is not 1, 6, but one of them has to be 1, 6. And so it's this one. And this is 2, 5. I'll get to Isabella's point in a second, but I haven't looked at it yet. So that's 2, 5. That's 1, 6. That makes that a 2. Makes these not a 2. Makes this a something something pair. Well, in fact, actually, it's even better because that's just a 1. The 1 is just placed. And this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's an 8. Okay. So no 1 over there. Okay. So, oh, and no 1 here either. So one of these is a 1. And remember one of these is 1, 6, 7. So I know the 6 is down here. So one of these is literally a 6. And that tells me that this is a 7 and this is a 6. So one of these is 1, 6, 7. The 7 we know goes up here. And so the other's 4, 8, 9. I don't think I quite know where the 8 goes yet. We'll keep thinking about that in a second. But we've got a 7, a 1, and a 6 for my 1, 6, 7. In that order. That's not a 7 anymore. Okay, now I can look at Isabella's point. I think I've now sort of figured out all of these. So Isabella's question is, if this was 1, 6, 7, where do the 6 and 7 go on this Renban? And the answer is they don't. Because this Renban still needs, even if this is 1, 6, 7, both Renban have a 6 and a 7 on them. And so if this was 1, 6, 7, I would put both the 6 and 7 on this Renban here. So this can't be 1, 6, 7. And so therefore this is 7, 1, 6. I can get rid of my 2 random notepads now. Beautiful spot, Isabella, exactly as I expected. So these are now the other ones. 2, 3, 4, 8, 9 is what's over here. So that's not a 9. That's not an 8. These aren't 1. These digits I actually now know because this is the 1, 2, 3. So these are 2, 3, 4, 5. These are from 2, 4, 5. That's not 2. So that's an 8, 9 pair. These digits I now know. So these digits are a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are 3, 6, and 7. That one's not a 3. This one's not a 5 because of Sudoku stuff. These digits are, of course, 1, 6, and 7. That's why they're colored. That one's not the 7. That one's not the 7. So that one is the 7. Those aren't the 7. So that is the 7. So we've got all of that. I don't think I need these colored cells anymore, but that got us lots of stuff. So excellently done, Isabella. This is just a pair now. Oh, and it includes a 2. So this includes a 2, which means that's the 1. This is a 2 and what? A 2 and a 4, I think, actually. And so this is not a 3. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is an 8 and a 9. Okay, got it. Okay, so that's an 8, 9. Okay, so lots of stuff happened there. This has become a 2. I don't know if it's going to be relevant immediately, but that has become a 2. There is a 2 in one of these 2 cells now. Interesting. SPQ points out that there's a 2, 3, 5 pair looking at this, so that's a 4. Very good. So those aren't 4. So I now need a 2 in row 9, and I know where it goes. Because my 2 in row 9 can't go on this. This Renban already has a 2, so therefore that's a 2. By magic. Okay, So where is the 4 on this Renban? The 4 on this Renban is in this box because this Renban is length 4. It needs a 4. So this box needs a 4 and 2 digits that add to 11 that have not yet appeared on the line. So it's a 4, not with 5, 6, not with 4, 7. So it's a 2 either with 3, 8. Sorry, it's either a 4. Oh, and it's not with 2, 9 either. So it's a 4 with 3, 8. So these are 3, 8, and 4 is the point. That's not an 8. In fact, that is an 8. That's not an 8. And now these digits are a 5 and the other ones. A 5, a 1, and a 9 in order to make that work. So that's 1, 5, 9. This is therefore 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a 6. This puzzle is spectacular. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 as well. That's not a 1. Quick scan to see if any Sudoku stuff has happened on these digits. I don't think any Sudoku stuff has happened on these digits, but it would not surprise me if Sudoku happened while I wasn't looking. There's a 3, 4 pair here, so this digit doesn't have a lot of options. Oh, is there a 5, 9 pair? There is a 5, 9 pair. There's a 5, 9 pair looking at that cell. So this is actually a naked single something. It's a naked single 8, which makes that a 9 and an 8. This is a 3, 4 pair, actually, so that's a 7. The things missing in this column are 1, 5, and 9. And so that's the 9. That's the 5. That's the 1. That 5 has made that a 9. The things missing in this column now, or in this box, take your pick, are 5 and 6, I believe. So these are a 5, 6 pair. The thing missing in this row is a... Oh, it's a 3 or a 4. Sorry, that 3, 4 was missing a buddy. So we've got a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is this a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 quintuple? This is a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 quintuple. So that means that the things we're missing are 7 and 9 in the row. So these are a 7, 9 pair. There's some stuff that Sven is telling me over in this box because I haven't been back here in a while. 6, 8, 9, 1, 2, 5, 4, 6, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 3, 4, not a 3, not a 4. The Jovi on 7s, chat points out, is actually going to place a 7 in the central box because I've claimed the 7 for column 4 and the 7 for column 6 between these two boxes. So the 7 in column 5 is in this box, but there's a 7 in this row already, so that's a 7. That's a 3 and a 6. Sorry, I did that backwards. That's a 6 and a 3. How about that direction? That's a 5 and a 6. That's a 2 and a 5. That's a 4 and a 2. That is not a 5. Got to be pretty careful with the betting tree now. We're in precarious territory. Let's see. This is not the 3 for this row. So where is the 3 in row 4? The answer is there. I'm sure there's a more elegant way to see that. This is a 2, 5 pair. It's 4 or 9, 4, 8 or 9. This is a 4, 5 or 9, I guess, for the row. Sad. This is a pair I should fill in. It is a 7 and something else. A 7 and a 2. This is a pair. It's a 3, 4, 5, 6, and an 8. No good. Quick scan of this column, looking for a tuple. I don't see one, sadly. Let's see. Nicholas would like us to fill in this digit as a naked 1, because it's not 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. So it is a naked 1. I agree. So that's not a 1. So that gives us a 6 and a 1. which gives us a 9 and a 5 and a 1. So we're going to get a lot out of that. That's an 8 and a 6 and a 7 and a 9 and a 3 and an 8 and a 2 and a 7. This digit's now pointed at by an octajove. That's a 9. It's an 8. That's not an 8. These are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so that's a 3. This is a 2 or a 5. This digit probably I can figure out if I stare at the column. 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like to me, making that a 9 and a 4, making that a 5 and a 9, making that a 2 and a 5, making that a 2. I did really enjoy chat's suggestion of calling it a pointing octajove. 2, 3, 4, 5 there, and suddenly we're at the betting tree, and the betting tree seems to be a 4 again. So you're really on a roll, you regular 4 betters. So congratulations to the 4 betters from Zach and I. The 4 lobby might have the fix in, but may all your betting tree wishes come true to the 4 betters in the chat. Alrighty, that was great. I really enjoyed that. That was so I've done, like I said, I've done a number of puzzles with this rule that everything is both a Renban and a region sum line. This is by far the most intricate of those puzzles. I had sort of thought that it wasn't possible to set a tricky puzzle with those, but this is definitely quite a tricky puzzle, but tricky in a very lovely and wonderful way. Alrighty, I will be back with another puzzle in just a moment. See you all shortly. Alrighty. Next up, we have another of these puzzles that has, for reasons that will be very evident, been recommended to me to the nines, so to speak, which is the puzzle Double Negative by DadJokes. So this is a slightly terrifying puzzle, I admit, having looked at the rule set, but we're gonna do our best. So first of all, we have double arrows. So how does a double arrow work? The way a double arrow works is that the digits in the circles add to the same thing as the digits along the line. So for example, if this were a 2 and a 7, that would be a 9. 2 plus 7 is 9. Or if this were an 8 and a 5, these could be 6 and another 7. I mean, not with that 7 over there, but 8 plus 5 is 6 plus 7. That's how double arrows work. But as you might have noticed, it's not possible for this grid to work without some extra rules. And so we in fact have extra rules. So we also have doublers. So one cell in every row, column, and box is a doubler, which counts for double its value. So if you have a 9 on a doubler, well then, good luck. You have it count as an 18, for example. We're going to need a lot of doublers in order to make this work because we've got this gigantic thing in the middle. But also, by the way, for doublers, the classic doubler rule is every digit appears in a doubler exactly once. And also, we're told that the givens are doublers. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark those as doublers. And so then I'm going to, I can't green stuff because of the next rule. The next rule is that 9 cells in the grid are also negators, which count as negative their value on double arrows. And negators also follow this rule that there's exactly 1 in every row, column, and box. And also, and thank God for this, no digit can be both a doubler and a negator. Okay, so these things are doubled. Okay, so good luck to us. So my first inclination is that I probably need one of these to be a doubler, but I haven't thought about negators a lot, so let's think about it with the negators. So what is the minimum sum of this line, granted that there could be a -9 on it? And so the answer is it's a sum of 6 digits, which would be 21, but then -9. So the answer is these sum to at least 13. Oh, Lord. So if these sum to at least 13, that's not at all enough to tell me that one of these has to be a doubler. And so that exact calculation is going to show up in all of these places that we have that. I might want to start actually with this sort of like the ring math here. Because if you add up all of the cells around the border of a Sudoku grid, this is going to require algebra. Chat might have to keep track of this for me. If I add up all the cells in the ring around the edge of the grid, then what's going to happen? I'm going to get the total 45 times 4, which is 180, but minus each of the corners because I counted them all twice. So it's 180 minus the sum of the 4 corners. But the sum of all of these cells is the 4 corners. So I can just add these back. So I can just remove these instead of removing the sum of the 4 corners, and remove these okay, so I can remove these. So wait, no, did I just subtract something twice? I think I subtracted something. Oh god. Okay, sorry. This is very hard in my head. Okay. So the sum of the border is 180 minus minus the 4 corner cells. So oh yeah, we need a betting tree, DadJoke. Do you have a betting tree? 180 minus the 4 corners is the sum. So I feel like this is going to do something for me, because I can say, like, so 180 minus the 4 corners is the sum, but then this is also the 4 corners. This is the 4 corners. Yeah, so right. So let me just think about simplifying the sum of all the yellow first. So the sum of all the yellow, I can throw out this yellow and then add it to these 2 cells. Throw out these yellow and add it to these 2 cells, because the sum is the same. I'm just trying to keep the sum. And so the sum of the border is currently also the sum of these things. I think this is actually going to be useful. So I can get rid of that at the cost of counting these an extra time. And get rid of this at the cost of counting these an extra time. Oops. And so the sum of the border is actually 3 times the sum of the 4 circles. Right? I think that's true. I think sum of border, I'm going to write this in chat, sum of border equals 3 times sum of 4 circles. I believe that's true. But also the sum of border is equal to 180 minus 1 times the sum of the 4 circles. And so if I solve that equation, what that's going to tell me is that 4 times the sum of the 4 circles is equal to Oh, the 180 doesn't count for the doublers or negators. Oh, you're right. I was all happy because I was thinking that this was going to count for the... Okay, so I think this doesn't work at all, I think is the point. I think is the... this... Unless I'm going to have to track all of this through thinking about doublers and negators. But this is not quite going to work because of, as Jay points out, doublers floating around. I'm not counting. Okay, so I was about to prove something that's actually impossible because I was about to try and prove that the sum of these digits was 36, but that's not going to work. Okay, so I think that's not the thing I should be thinking about as of yet. Okay, so what should I be thinking about then? So here's one thing. This cell can be neither a doubler nor a negator. It can't be a doubler because it sees a doubler, and it can't be a negator because in order for it to be a negator, I'd need one of the two ends to be negative. But if one of the two ends is negative, then this can't be a negator. So this is neither. And I think the same argument applies to these. If... Oh, no. No, that's true. Okay. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Because one of these could be negative and the other could be positive. But this can't be a doubler or a negator. Of that, I am medium confidence. So I think we have our first actual pencil mark that this is not a doubler or a negator. Is there any world where this is a negator? I don't think so. I think this can't be a negator. Because if this is a negator, again, I have 6 digits here. Yeah, if this was a negator, I have 7 digits here that add to at least 28. And this adds to a negative number, so I'd need to make this cell add to at least 29. That's not possible. So this isn't a negator. And it's not a doubler either. Okay. Jay has a parity point, which is pretty cool, which is that if I have a double arrow taking up this entire box, I know the entire box adds to 45, but the entire box also adds to double the sum of these plus the sum of these. But then you have to go back and realize that you can't actually have... the sum isn't actually 45. The sum is actually 45 minus 2 times the value of the negator, because I counted the negator as positive, and I now need to count it as negative. So I need to subtract 2 times the value of the negator, but then I need to add the value of the doubler. And so what that means is, if you do that all mod 2, that means the doubler in this box has to be odd. So there needs to be an odd doubler living in this box. I don't think it tells me that the odd doubler has to go here, but there has to be an odd doubler here. So that's very powerful, I think. And I might want to write that equation down later of 45 minus 2 times the negator plus the thing. But the interesting thing is that's true along... okay, so here's the point. I need an odd doubler here, but the exact argument tells me I need an odd doubler in row 1, column 1, row 9, and column 9. But the problem is there are only 5 doublers to go around, and I've 5 odd doublers to go around. I've used 2 of them. I need one of them there. What that tells me is that either these 2 corners are odd doublers or these 2 corners are odd doublers. I don't know which yet, but I probably will some. But I need both odd doublers to be in corner cells. Otherwise, I don't have enough. Which is very cool. And is actually like a simpler version in some ways than the thing I was trying to do with adding the whole border together. but slightly more complicated because of thinking about the negators. But I love the fact that the negator changes the parity by an even number, so it doesn't change the parity. That is very cool. So yeah, so there's sort of a we have a like weird little X-wing on negators. Okay, and so one thing we have to keep in mind here is that there's a bunch of dinky short lines here. And it's going to be awfully hard to put a high negator with one of these dinky short lines. So the odd numbers I have left to double are 5, 7, and 9. So if, for example, this was a double 5, then in order to make this line work at all, I would need to have a negator here. That would be something like a negator 1 and then a 9 or whatever. So if these are my two negators, if these are my two doublers, then in both of these cases, I need to put a negator in each of those. So that's the point, is that if these are the doublers, these things have to be negators, or it doesn't work. Likewise, if this is a doubler, this has to be a negator. So one of these two is always a negator, because either that's a doubler or that's a doubler. Both of them force one of these to be a negator, which means these are all nothing. And I can probably do that for some other cells. One of these two has to be a negator, which means these are nothing. It's not true here. If this is a doubler, it could be, say, a double 5. This could still be positive, and this would work. At least as far as I am able to determine it so far. But we're making a little bit of progress now towards understanding the nature of the universe. Let's see. Okay, so I've also got this double 3. Negators are going to be red because red is what I connotate with negative in like a banking sheet. So negators are going to be red when we get there. Okay, so so there is a negator up here somewhere for whatever that's worth. I don't think we know that this cell is purple yet, do we? Maybe if we think hard about this, we do. But we're going to have to think pretty hard about it because we don't naively know this. But we know we need to double a 5, 7, or 9 in this box. And so what if I don't put the doubler in this circle? Then I put a double 5, 7, or 9 in here. So let's say we take a double 5. And so the minimum sum here would be 21 plus 6, which is 26 minus 9. 26 minus 9 would be 17. And then I would need these two to honestly add to 17, which I can't because I use the 9. So if I use something like an 8 or a 7, then it's never going to work because then I'm going to get to need these to add to more than 17. So yes, because the doubler in this box, so Chameleon is right, because the doubler in this box is at least a 5, it pushes the total up too high. I counted the negator, Nicholas. So I said 1 through 6 is 21, plus I doubled the 5 is 26, minus 9 is 17. So min 17, which I can't do, but if I do any deviation from that, it becomes worse. So this does have to be the doubler. And so this is a 5, 7, or 9. That's cool because of these two doublers pushing that doubler up. That's very cool. So we've got that being a doubler. Okay, so now that's going to be very interesting for... well, maybe not very interesting. It's going to be a little bit interesting for one of these lines, because now this line needs to add, if this is not a negator, this line needs to add to something moderate in size, I suppose. Okay, so yeah, and all I know is that like the minimum here is 13. That's not quite enough. I know one of these is a doubler and it's not that one. So one of these two is a doubler. I'm very afraid that if I gray stuff that can't be doublers, regardless of whether it can be a negator, I'm going to confuse myself and make a wrong deduction. So I think not, but I acknowledge it's going to make us have to think more about Sudoku on these things than normal. So one of these two is a doubler. That's actually interesting. I agree that if I was... I totally agree, Jim, that if I was confident I would not make a mistake, that would work. But I'm not confident I won't make a mistake. One of these is an even doubler, because just of Sudoku 1 doublers, because I have my sort of doubler X-wing. So one of these is an even doubler. Does that tell me anything interesting? I mean, doubling 2 is not going to work, probably. Oh, I even could double 2. Never mind. Oh boy. Okay. So I guess part of the reason why these were given, these two doublers, I wasn't really appreciating it, is so that I know that these can't be doublers, I suppose. Oh, I guess that's not even necessarily really interesting. So the total sum of this box, let's do this. The total sum of the digits in this box is, if I count them with their negatives, is 2 times this plus this. So it's 4 times the purple cell plus the gray cell times 2. So that is to say that the total of the box, I'm going to write this in chat again, the total is 2 times purple plus gray, which is to say it is 4 times purple plus 2 times gray. And that is equal to 45 plus the purple, because that counts total, minus the negator. So if I write that out, and I sort of mentally do that, that's saying 3 times purple, minus 2 times the negator, you're right. Let's see, can I edit this? Let me just remove it. Right, equals, let's do the math right, equals 45 plus the value of the purple minus 2 times the negator. Good, thank you for catching that. And so that's saying that 3 times the purple plus 2 times the gray minus 2 times the negator is equal to 45. So it's possible I'm supposed to see a mod 3 thing here going on, because now the gray and the negator have to cancel out mod 3. So the gray and the negator are equal mod 3, whatever on earth I'm supposed to do with that. But in this box, the gray cell and the negator are equal mod 3. And actually the same is true in each of these rows and columns on the border. The gray and the negator are always equal mod 3, is what that algebra tells us, if I did that algebra correctly. DadJokes can tell me if I did my algebra wrong somehow. Okay. Yeah, and it's also true that the circles, including the one being doubled, plus the negator is the rest of the line. I think Garion earlier suggested you can think of the negator as being sort of a third circle, which is perfectly fine to me. You can think of the negator as a third circle if you like. Okay, so that's interesting. Okay, so I need a number for the negator that's equal mod 3 to 5. Okay, so 5, 7, and 9. What are the numbers that are equal to 5 mod 9? Or sorry, that are equal to 5 mod 3. Yeah, there's always going to be 2 of them, and so they're going to be 2 or 8. And the 7 is going to go with 1 or 4. And the 9 is going to go with 3 or 6. Sure. So I think maybe what's very interesting is the fact that one of these actually has a 5 in the doubler. So I want to think about the one that has a 5 in the doubler, because 5 is a pretty small number. Oh wait, it's gray is equal to purple. Gray is equal to purple, right? Gray and purple. Sorry, no, gray and the negator are equal. It's this and the negator that are equal, not the other way around. Okay, let's do the math when this is 5. When this is 5, I now have the absolute maximum that these cells are allowed to sum to is now 19. So I want to think about and note, it doesn't matter. This is definitely happening somewhere. Somewhere I have a purple 5. And in wherever the purple 5 is, the most I can make the outer pieces sum to is 19. And so I need to somehow make this length 7 line sum to 19 or less. So how are we going to do that? We are going to do that by... Oh, I know a parity thing. Because purple is... So looking back at my 3 times purple plus 2 times gray minus 2 times the negator is 45. Purple's odd. So 3 times purple is odd. So that means... Oh, no. Never mind. So that means 2 times gray minus 2 times the negator is even. Never mind. That is not a useful observation, Zeta. 2 times something is even is not a useful thing. It's true that if I put a 5 on the outside, I actually have to do it twice. So if I put a 5 here, for example, I have to do this. So I'd love to prove that 5 has to be opposite 9 in gray, because if 5 has to be opposite 9 in gray, I think that will be useful. Okay. So what can I do here if I make this a 5? So let's look at this. So let's just plug in purple equals 5 to our equation. And so when purple is 5, what I get is 2 times gray minus 2 times negator is equal to 30. So I get so wait, how does that work? I did something wrong. Wait, something screwed up. Oh, it's because my equation has a minus when it should have a plus? Is that right? Right. My equation should have a plus. So my equation, I moved it minus 2 times the negator to the other side, but when I moved it to the other side, I didn't change it to a plus. So the correct equation is actually this one. Plus 2 times gray plus 2 times the negator is equal to 45. That's the correct equation. I just screwed up a minus sign. And so when purple is 5, what that says is gray plus negator is equal to 15. So you get a little sort of wiggle option in terms of how that's going to work. So, because there's a couple ways to make two numbers add to 15. In fact, there are exactly 2 ways to make two numbers add to 15, which are 6, 9 and 7, 8. So wherever the 5 is in purple, we have one of those two. We have a 6, 9 or a 7, 8 living in the world with living in the world as the negator and the circle. So let me just fill this in for just a second. If this is a 5, what that's saying is that these 2 digits are from 6, 9, 7, 8. And it's saying, so I'm imagining here, just to imagine it, that is the 5. So these aren't doublers in this world. And these numbers must in this world be with their pair of the negator in the row to add to 15. Okay. So is this universe intrinsically broken is really my question. And sadly, I'm afraid the answer is probably not. I mean, I know this needs to be a doubler. Oh, wait. So was my gray is equal to the negator mod 3 thing? Was that actually true? Or did I screw that up? I think, no, gray is equal to minus the negator. So my screwing up the minus sign actually screwed that up. So that was wrong. It's actually gray and the negator are opposites mod 3. So sadly, my statement that the gray and the negator are congruent mod 3 was based on bad math. So I mean, 0 is minus 0. So if this is the 5, 1 is 6, 9, and 1 is 7, 8. But I don't think we know which is which yet. But this, I mean, the thing I'm hoping to prove is this has to be the 5, that I can't put the 5 on the border, because it would be too weird. But I don't yet have any pressure on that, that I see. Let's see. There's no cell that like weirdly sees all of these things or something, I don't think. The fact that one of these was a doubler was very interesting to me. Like, that seems very very intentional, but I don't see what to do with it. So have all of that. So I guess, so yeah, so if instead of using 5, we used 7, then we would be saying that the gray plus the negator equaled 12. And if we instead used purple as 9, that would be saying that, let's see, 45 minus 27 is what? Is 18? 28? One of those? 18 or 28? I can't do it in my head. 45 minus 27 is, I think it's 18. And so the gray and the negator would indeed equal 9. So depending on where we are, the gray and the negator are either summing to 9, to 12, or to 15. So in these various places, gray plus negator equals 9, 12, or 15, depending on which place we are. See, Jim says the doubler has to be 2 or 4. Is there a reason I couldn't use a doubler and a negator? Because I think I could use a doubler and a negator in here. And then be sad. So let's see. Yeah, this lives over... The doubler is in one of these two cells. It's over here. It'll be double of an even. It's on this line. I don't know. This line has a big sum, kind of. I mean, it's at least 11, unless that's a negator. But it very well could be a negator, like it probably is. Okay. Maybe I should ask myself specifically the other direction. What does the world look like where this is a 9? Is that possible? Oh, that's just immediately impossible, isn't it? Okay, so that's the thing I should have been asking this whole time. This can't possibly be a 9, because I need this to be negative, but I need this to be like a -9 to make that a 9? That's not going to work. So the doubler 9 can't be there, or there. I need a doubler 9 somewhere. So the doubler 9 is either here or here. Yeah, I was completely on the opposite end of the place I was supposed to be looking. So there's only 2 places the doubler 9 can go. Why is one of these broken? Is this being the doubler 9 somehow a problem? I don't see how it could possibly be a problem. Oh no, it is a problem. This can't be a doubler 9, because this isn't negative. That's cool. Okay, this can't be a doubler 9 either. Because if this is double 9, now I've got to make this thing sum to 19 or higher with 2 digits. I could make one of them negative, but that's not going to help. So the fact that this line is length 2 helps me not at all with making this a huge number because of that. So in fact, this is a 9. And so we get to do the 9 dance. Sorry, Zach. I know you've been waiting backstage for a while to do this. Woohoo! 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 Thank you, Zach. Thank you very much. Very exciting. Go have some fish. I think it's going to be a while before you get to dance again. So now I actually know that this is a 7 or an 8. Because I know that the negator and the gray cell have to sum to 15, but they can't be 6, 9 because of that. So this has to be 7 or 8. This has to be a negator for sure, because if this is not a negator, I need these two to sum to more than 18, which doesn't work. What? Oh, that was for if the 5 was doubled. Never mind. Never mind. That was for 5. Sorry, this is not a 5. This is still a negator, though. Because if this is not a negator, I need these to sum to more than 18. And now, once that's the negator, I now know this has to be doubled. Because now this can't be the negator anymore. And so this can't be a doubler. Because if this were a doubler, that would need to be a negator. So these are not doublers. Not doublers, is what I meant to say. I don't actually know that this isn't a negator. I don't think. But I do know that it's not a doubler. These are the doublers. Oh, it could be a negator. God damn it. Right. I could put a negator here No, I can't. What are you talking about? You can't put a negator there. I know one of these two is a negator. This is nothing. Put a doubler. Oh, I could put a doubler here. What? So I put a doubler here. I guess that does work. Ugh. Okay, so, yeah, so I'm gonna end up having to put a doubler here because I have to put a negator here. Because I can't double anything on this line. Because I have already used my doublers for the box and row. And so if I don't balance this out with a negator, this is going to have an even bigger problem. So that has to be the negator. So now actually it's the other way around that things work. But this now has to be a doubler in order for the world to possibly work. So this is now nothing. That's now nothing. I mean, it might be a negator, who cares? But it's not the doublers that I've been looking for. So these are the doublers, and these are a 5-7 pair. In order to make that work. These are... Wait. No, sorry. These are both negators, because of previous work. So we've now got a bunch of negators sort of floating around in the grid. So let's try and color everything I now know is nothing. So I can gray all of that. I can gray all of that. Gray all of that. I can gray that for sure. I can gray that for sure. That's a good thing to know is gray. I can gray this whole box. I can gray that cell. I'm going to guess that's probably not a negator, actually, but we'll see later. I know this is 2, 4, 6, or 8, because it's not one of the ones that's odd. Let's see. Okay, so... it's at least 12, so these are at least 3. I don't really want to pencil mark that it's at least 3. But this can't be very large because of the 3 on the other side. So this has to be at most 5. So this cell's actually quite constrained. So this is at most 5 because I need to be able to put a digit here. But also, these two need to sum to a single-digit number, and this is at least 10. Oh, crap. No, it's not quite. It's only if this is a 7 that this is restrained. Oh, I did prove that I couldn't have a negator on a long line circle. That's right. I have no idea how that proof went, but I'm just going to reuse it because I don't feel like proving it in. Because I mean, that's how we grade this cell to start with. And so the point is that gives me another negator location, lets me gray those. It's certainly true, as Liam says, I can't negate 3. Because if I negate 3, then I get double 3 minus 3 is 3, and then I have a 3 looking at 2 other 3s, which is definitely not going to work. Okay, I agree with that assessment. Gray is equal to red mod 3. So these two are equal mod 3 is the point. From what I proved before, these two... No, they're not equal mod 3, they're opposite mod 3, right? They're opposite mod 3. That's not actually as interesting as it could be. This is gray because it sees both a negator and a doubler. I know one of these is a doubler. That's not telling me anything yet. this and the negator I know add to 9. Okay, this is kind of interesting, actually, to try and do without... Okay, this... No, I don't know about this. If there's no shenanigans on this line, it's quite constricted. I have to scroll up to my equation again. Where was my equation again? Not that one. I mean, I guess that one will do. Gray plus negator is 9, 12, or 15. And so this gray cell here is not 5 or 7. Oh, and it's not 9. They add to 12 or 15, because the one where they summed the gray and the negator add to 9 is in this box. I probably can restrict this a little bit more if I want to. Like, could this really be a 2 is a question I could ask, because if this were a 2, I'm still going to at least 19. So yeah, because these two need to add to at least 18, sorry, at least 19, and this cell is at most 8, this cell needs to add to a number that is at least 11, which means it's not a 2 or a 4 in any case. It's a 6 or an 8, just by sort of math on this line and the lack of negators and stuff. If this was 9 and 6, then I'm trying to cap this number now is basically the thing. This number is probably going to have to be pretty big, and this number is going to be small or whatever. Let's try it. So now at absolute maximum, this is a double 8, which is 16. Yeah, that does leave a lot of room, because then that just ends up saying that this digit is 2 less than that digit. That's not super exciting. Okay. Okay, so we're looking at these. So again, we're summing to 12 or 15 between the gray and the negator in the row. And so in one direction, I need to sum to 12, and in one direction, I need to sum to 15. This is Jay Dyer's point. So what ways are there to sum to 12? Well, I can't do 5, 7. So I have to do either 3, 8, or sorry, I'm summing to 12. 12. So I have to do either 4, 8, or 3, 9. Just in order to sum to 12, right? 4, 8, or 3, 9. So these digits are both from 4, 8, or 3, 9. But we also need to have them involved in a sum to 15. And so those can't be 3 or 4, because 3 and 4 are not involved in sums to 15. So they're an 8-9 pair, which is fancy. And so the negators involved... So I know what negators I get in these rows now, so I need to write this down. What are the 4 negators I get in these rows? Oh, let's do the low-hanging fruit before we do the hard part. Which is that this now has to be an 8 because of this completely valid double arrow that can't have a 9 there. So this is an 8, 9, 1, 6. These sum to 19, so that's a 7. It's a 9. So the negators, Jay tells me I can calculate are 3, 4, 6, and 7 that I've used in the border. So all the negators that aren't in the border are not 3, 4, 6, or 7. This one is 3, 4, 6, or 7, though. So it is 3, 4, or 7. This is just because every negator is involved in a sum with an 8 or a 9 to 12 or 15. And so there are 4 such numbers, and I need 4 of them. So that's where Jay got the 3, 4, 6, and 7 from. And so if I mark candidates for these other ones, they can't include a 4. And so I'm just going to take off 3, 4, 6, and 7 from these, and then also the other things they cannot be. Well, by hard part, I really meant part that is going to require me to keep track of an absurd amount of information in my head. This can't be a 1. No, this can't be a 1 anymore. Oh, no, it could, because... No, it can't be a 1 anymore, because if this were a 1, that would have to be a 5 and a 9, but there's a 9 in the column, so this isn't a 1. This is a 2 or a 5. If this were a 2, it would make this a 4. If this were a 5, it would make that a 1. So this cell's always a 1 or a 4. When I solve by myself, I take extensive notes on paper, but I try very, very hard not to do that when I'm streaming because it makes the stream impossible to follow. But then it means I'm having to like concentrate hard enough that smoke is coming out of my ears trying to avoid that. Could have marked a long time ago that this was gray. And that this is gray for that matter. Because I see a purple and a whatever. Can't be 2 because 7 times 2 minus 5 is 9. I don't see where 7 times 2 minus 5 is coming from. Why couldn't it be 5 times 2 minus 2 is 8? Oh, it can't be 5. Oh, I see. Okay, so if this is 5, it makes that a 7. So if this is a 5, it makes this a 7, which then would make this a 2. No. Would then make this a 14 minus 5 is 9. Okay, sorry, this is complicated. I keep trying to double the negators. So if this is 5 and if this is 5, this is 7. And so that's a minus 5 plus 14 would be a 9 here, and I can't put a 9 there. So that's a 2, which means that's a 4. Means this isn't a 2, and this isn't a 2. So this is either... Oh, actually, no, it's not either. It's a 5, because if this is a 7, I'd have to put a 12 here, and I can't do that. So that's a 5, that's a 7, that's an 8. So now that's a 5, interestingly enough. So we now know in this column what has to happen, because the gray and the red in this column have to sum to 15, and so that has to be a 7 by our previous math. In this, the red needs to be a 6, but who knows where that is. And now in this column, the gray and the red need to sum to 12. So I need a 5 in the... Wait. No, I need a 3 in the negator, sorry. And in this row, I need a what in the negator? In this row, again, I need the gray. I need a 4 in the negator. So there's a negated 4 up here. So that's true. That 5 means that's not a 5 while we're at it. So let's do the math here. 14 minus 8 would be 6. 14 minus 9 would be 5. This cell's always a 5 or a 6. Let's also pencil mark this box. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So these are... Well, I know that's not a 4 because the negated 4 is over here. So this cell's a 2. These aren't 2 or 4, so therefore that's a 3, 5 pair. This is the 4. So we've got that. So let's fill in our quintuple here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These I know aren't 8. That one's also not 9. That one's not 9 either. I actually know the sum here. So this is going to be hard to be a 1, because the sum here is 18 minus 5, which is 13. I certainly am not making a sum to 13 with a 1. So it's either a 7 and a 6, or an 8 and a 5, but it's not an 8 and a 5. So it's actually a 6 and a 7. So that makes that a 1 and a 9 and an 8. These are 1, 2... 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, and 9. That one's not a 9. It's a 1 or a 2. These are a pair. 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. No, not 2. There's already a 2 in the box. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4, 7. Down there. Okay. Oh, but what's the negator in this row? The negator in this row is a 6, so that doesn't help me at all. And the negator in this column is a something, but it probably doesn't help me. Okay. So, I actually am going to mark this, even though it's ridiculous. The negator down here is a 6. And the negator in this column is a 3. Okay, so that actually was useful immediately because it tells me that this cell is nothing. So actually the 3 is in only one of these 2 places, for what it's worth. Oh, that's interesting. I have a minus 8 or 9 on this thing, so I need a doubler here in order to make this work. No matter how big this is, I need a doubler on this line. So there's definitely a doubler in one of these 2 cells. Oh, and it's not there. So this is definitely a doubler. Oh, no. Do I mean negator? Sorry, I do mean negator, don't I? Right, I do mean negator. Because the sum of this is now at most 1. Actually, it's even at most 0. So the sum of this line needs to be negative. Sorry, I forgot there were 2 kinds of hijinks. But the kind of hijinks I need is I actually need a negator, not a doubler, in order to make the total of this negative. And so that negator has to go there, which tells me that's not the negator 3. This is the negator 3. This is gray. These are all gray. That's gray. That has given me the 6 and the 3 over here. These aren't 6 anymore because we already have the negator for the box. So the negator 6 is down here. So we've got that. Okay. And we're slowly picking things off. This is a very cool puzzle, by the way. This is very this is very well constructed. Let's see. Am I going to be able to put a 9 down here? I know there's a doubled even number in one of these 2 cells. I have to remember. If there were a doubled even number here, who knows? Okay, I should write in all the possibilities of what this can be. So I need to remember that outside the border, I have a 3, a 4, a 7, and a 6. Can't be a 9. I've already doubled, or I've already negated 5 there and 2 there. So this has to be a -1 or a -8. So if this were a -1, it seems very difficult for that to work. Because actually, remember, the absolute maximum, because this cell can't be a 9, the maximum these two sum to is 0. But if this is a -1, I can't get my sum that low. So this actually is an 8. That is a 9. That makes this 14 minus 9 is 5. That sorts out the 3 and the 5. We've got... could this possibly be a doubler now, I guess is the question. It would have to be, it would double to at least 4. I guess maybe it's possible. I'd have to think about it harder to decide otherwise. So we now have the 2, the 6, no, sorry, those are negators, not doublers. Darn, we have got the 6 in doublers. There's no way there is a double 8 in these two cells. So we have to think, what is the doubled even digit in these two cells? And so the doubled even digit in these two cells, well, it's not a 6 because I've already doubled 6. It's not an 8 because if I double 8, I make this cell kind of completely ridiculous. Because now this cell, keep in mind, neither of these can be a negator. So this cell now becomes like a 13 or something. So I'm doubling a 2 or a 4. If I double a 4, actually, that doesn't work because then this needs to be a 9 because, again, I don't get a negator. So I can't double a 4. I have to double a 2, and I double the 2 exactly there because there's already a 2 elsewhere. So those are all gray. This is now gray because of that. So I double a 2, and then I add some digit here that's at most 5, but isn't 2 or 3. Can't be 5 either because it would make this a 9, and it can't be. So I either double 2 and add 1, making this a 5, or I double 2 and add 4, making this an 8. This cell can only be 5 or 8. The negator in box 5, I am being told, is a 1. If I look at all the other negators, because I know every other negator. So the negator in this box is a 1, and that tells me what this digit is. Because they needed to sum to 8 together. So this digit is an 8, because the negator and this digit needed to sum to 9, because of that 9. So this isn't a 1. Let's see. So let's just start filling in. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So these two need to sum to 17, which I cannot do naturally, because if I try and make these sum to 17 naturally, then they need to be 8, 9, and they can't be because there's already a 9. I can't use a negator to fix it because neither of these things could be a negator, so I need a doubler. So that's a doubler. That's gray. That's gray. That's a doubler. So these are a 4-8 pair. And I know what order they go, because these are the 2 even doublers that I have left. And so they're 4 and 8 because I've used 2 and 6, but this one can't be 8. So it's 4, and that's 8. Making that a 5. So now that makes this a 1, because I now have this summing to 17. That's already 16, so that's a 1. This is a triple. 1, 2, 3. No, not 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's a 4. That's a 1. Oh. As soon as I filled in a 5 here, did I just never fill in that this was a 1 even though I knew it, apparently? I don't know. 7, 5. So this is that negator 1 that I told you about earlier. At some point I did something horrendous with pencil marks where I knew something was a something and just didn't fill it in anyway. I don't know exactly how that happened. I'm sure there's a good reason for it. This is gray. I mean, I'm sure there's not a good reason for it, really. That's not a 6. That's not a 4. So we've got all of that. These are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's not 2 or 4. That's not 2 or 7. That's not 4. This isn't... Neither of these is 6 either, because I know the 6 doublers down there, which gives me a 2, 4, 7 triple in the bottom row. So this cell is not 1, 2. It could be 3. It's not 4, 5, 6, 7, or it could be an 8. So this cell here is only a 3 or an 8. So we've got all of that. Oh, this arrow is finishable, is being pointed out. So the sum is -1. Currently, it sums to -8, so this needs to be a 7. So that's not a 7. Very good. So that's a 7 by Sudoku. This is a pile of digits. 2, not 3, 4, 5, 6, not 7, 8, and 9. It's not a 9, not a 5, not a 5 or a 9. This is a quad of digits. 2, 3, not 4, 5, not 6, 7, and 8. 2, 8, 5, 8, 3, 5. This is a quad as well. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not a 2, not a 4, not an 8. Actually, I know that one's not a 4 either, because there's a negated 4 in this box. So one of these two is the 4. Row 7 has a triple. That's a good point. So this 4, 6, 7 triple gives me this value. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 goes there. So we have now placed let's see. So yeah, we've got that. So what are these? These are a triple for sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is not an 8. These are 3, 6, and 8. That's not super exciting. It does make row 1, column 4 a 4 by magic, which I was trying to avoid, but was perfectly willing to use if I absolutely have to. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, so the point is there's something here. So this is a 4. Sorry about your betting tree. So that is gray, which is going to gray this cell and red that cell, which is then going to make that a 6 and a 3 and an 8. And an 8 over there. Yeah, Acid Helm betting the -4 so close. Yeah, it's almost the sweetest betting cell victory we've ever had on the channel. What's that line from the Genius about beautiful defeats and ugly victories or something like that? That is definitely what happened here. 2, 3, 4. Oh, not 3. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not a 6, not a 5. So that's a 2, 5 pair. So that makes that a 6, I am being told, by a little monkey in my head. Let's see. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So let's see. So that's a 3 and a 2 and a 1 and a 9 and a 2 and a 1 and a 5 and a 6 and a 9 and a 5. And a 2 and a 5 and a 6. And an 8 and a 3. These are not 6. We have a 2, 4 pair in this column, so we can fill in the rest of it. We still need a 1 in the column, which has to go there. There's something else missing from this column, and I think it's a 3, and it goes there. There's something missing from this box. And it's a 2 that goes there. There's something missing from this row. And it's a 4 that goes there. That was a 4 and a 2. What's missing from this box? It's a 6. 7 and 6, and 2 and 4, and 7 and 4. Penultimate cell is a 3. And then, as foretold by a legitimate business person, the betting tree is a 9. It was a very nice puzzle. I liked that a lot. There's a lot of very fancy stuff in there to sort of make all of this work. But I loved the sort of figuring out the locations of the odd digits because of the negator math being sort of a parity preserving thing. Was very cool. And the mod 3 thing, I think, never really came into effect. Oh, that's right, because the mod 3 thing was wrong. That's why the mod 3 thing never came into effect, because it was I missed a minus sign. But very cool. That definitely, that is a puzzle I will remember for a long time. Alrighty, let me take a quick break to recover from that, and then I'll be back with some 6x6 action. So I will see you all very shortly. Alright, we are back with a 6x6 Antiking puzzle from Ambrose. So we just have to put the numbers 1 through 6 in every row, column, and box. And we have to make sure that there is no touching. So because this is a 4, that can't be a 4, for example. And that's it. That's the puzzle. So the first thing I see is that by Sudoku, 1 is placed in this box because 1 can't touch a 1 and it can't be in the same row or column as a 1. So that's a 1, which then places 1 in this box because 1, again, can't touch a 1. It means the 1 over here is in one of these 2 cells. I see that, let's see. I'm going to pencil mark that I know that 4 is in one of these 2 cells in this box, and 2 is in one of these 2 cells in this box, which means 2 is in one of these 2 cells in this box. 1 in box 4, Jay points out I should have just kept going with 1s, because that's a 1 for the same exact reason, so that's a 1. I was like, oh, I don't see how I can do it, but of course I could do it. Let's see. So I know one of these is a 4, but that doesn't do a lot for me. One of these 2 is a 4, but that doesn't do a lot for me. One of these 2 is a 2, I know. So the 2 is up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the traditional box numbering in 6x6s. But that's very confusing because people intuitively want to call like this box 9 or something. The 5 is now placed over here, thanks to that 5. So that's a 5. Does that do anything, is my question. Not ostensibly. There's a 4 over there somewhere. 5 in this box has all kinds of options. 4 down here is only a little bit option-y. Let's see. I like 57 Thorn's suggestion of making these boxes 1, 3, 4, 7. 1, 3, 4, 7, and 9. Yeah, 1, 3, 6, 7, and 9. Yeah, 1, 3, 6, 7, or 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9. I don't understand Andrew's point about the 4s in column 5 yet. maybe I'm supposed to be asking... Ah, okay. This is the correct question. The correct question is, where does this digit go in box 2? And the answer is that where this digit goes in box 2 is one of those two places, so therefore this digit is a 5. That's the way to see it, at least for me. So I want to do that same trick everywhere I can, which is maybe nowhere else, possibly. But if this digit isn't a 3, it goes there. Let's see. Let me just fill in this triple because I might as well. 3, 4, 6. What chat was saying was confusing me, so I just did something different. So this is 3, 4, and 6. This I know isn't a 4. And this is actually a 3, 4, 6 triple. Because no two of them can be the same because of Antiking. So that tells me that that's not 4. This is a 3 or a 6. And so that gives us a 3-6 pair, which makes that a 4. So these are from some various numbers. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So these are from 2, 3, 6. I know this 3, 6 goes in one of these two places, but that doesn't immediately tell me anything. So yeah, so I think the now good question is to chase this. This is per Kurobon. Where does green go in this box? And the answer is it can only go there. But that means it goes there, which means that this isn't a 2 because it's green, which now means that's a 2. This is really cool. Which now means that's a 2, not that one. Which now means that's a 2. And so we get this. This is a 3, 4, or a 6. And in fact, this one has to be the same as that one. But that doesn't immediately tell me anything. But that's okay. Let's see. This 3, 6... Oh, it might be yellow. Maybe I should color that 3, 6 instead? Well, that 3, 6 I know goes here. So this being yellow means that's yellow. So what can this digit be? It can't be 1. It could be 2. Probably is 2. It can't be 3, 4, 5, or 6. So because of this 3, 6 pair looking at this cell's a naked single 2. Which is what I was hoping for. So this is the yellow 3, 6. And the yellow 3, 6 seems not to be able to be a 3. So this is a 6, a 6, a 6, a 3, a 3, a 3. These aren't 3. These are a pair that include a 3. They're 3 and 5. So this cell can't be a bunch of things. So it could be 2, but it can't be 1, 3, 4, 5. Oh, but it could be 6. This cell can only be 2 or 6 is the answer. What's left in this column? 2 and 4. I don't think I have anything exciting to say about that yet. What about the rest of this box? These are 2, 3, and 4. That's not 4. That's not 2. Let's see. Row 5 has a triple. Good point. So that's a 5. This is a 4, 6. This cell sees a 3. That's also a good point from Isabella. That 3 sees that cell. So this cell actually is a 4, and a 2, and a 3. And a 4, and a 5, and a 6, and a 3, and a 4, and a 6, and a 4, and a 2. And so we're going to go ahead and get a yellow there, several greens over there, a yellow there, a yellow there. And let's see. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 5. Loved that puzzle. The big insight for me was thinking about where this digit went in this box. So just from the get-go, I could have looked at this cell and realized it had to be a 1 or a 5. And so then once we sort of chased the 1s around, we knew it was a 5, and then everything kind of unraveled from there. Very cool. Let me dig up the next 6x6. I'll be right back. As promised, I am right back. This is a Meanie, so by Math Pesto. So we are in this grid to place exactly 6 of the digits from 1 through 9. We have to decide which 6 digits, but we will decide which 6 digits. And then do normal Sudoku stuff with them. But in so doing, we have to handle our Ren Ban, so these have to be a consecutive sequence, and our black dot. These have to have a 1-to-2 ratio. And this is weird, all black dots are given, which is, well, as I said, weird. Okay, so this has gotta involve coloring, because I see right away that that digit has to go there. In this row. I will try to remember not to use Antiking, but no promises. I don't usually throw betting trees in 6x6s, but lots of people are betting, so I will make a betting tree for this 6x6. Now, this digit... what's really interesting about this digit is it can never touch yellow. So this digit is in one of those two places. Like, I think this puzzle is going to be about these two digits and how they bounce around and can't touch. But I'm not sure. Let's see. So this Renban doesn't have a yellow on it. Right, green can't touch yellow. Oh, right, green can't touch yellow, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Green is placed there. Well, my point is it has to go in row 2 somewhere. And it can't repeat on the Renban. So in row 2, it needs to go in this box. And in row 2, both of those touch yellow, so it can only go there. Yellow in, let's see. This is going to be a little tricky to trace forward, though. Let's see. I know that there's a green in one of these two. It's weird that green and yellow don't appear on either of these Renbans together. But presumably some digits appear on these Renbans together. Oh, in fact, these two digits. These two digits are these two digits. That's the point. Okay, so they're 3 and 6 is the point. Because where did the two orange digits go in box 1? And the answer is, well, they're not yellow, so they go there. But that means... Oh, sorry, when I said they're 3 and 6... Yeah, they're 3 and 6. Orange is 4 and 5. Because these two digits have to go in a sequence, yellow, orange, orange, green. And so the only black dot digits that are separated appropriately like that are 3 and 6. So we have 3, 6 here. We have 4, 5 over here. So green's up in one of those two with whatever those things. This I know is a 3 or a 6. So every length 3 Renban has... Yes, every length 3 Renban needs to have green or yellow on it. Because if it doesn't have green or yellow on it, then I would need to have 7, 8, 9 in my grid, and I don't have room for 7, 8, 9 because I already have 4 of the 6 digits. So if green is on this Renban, it's there. That doesn't quite help. Sadly. I do know one of these two is green. Hey, Kodak, how are you? Let's see. It's kind of hard for me to believe that 2 or 8 could possibly be in this grid somewhere. That's the point. Okay, Tristan has the point, I think. So green in this box I know goes in one of these two places. So where does yellow in this box go? Can't yellow go there, though, Tristan? No, it can't, because that's touching green. I'm not good at this. Okay, so yellow can't go here because it'll touch one of these two greens, and yellow can't go here because it'll touch that green. So yellow can't go on this Renban at all. So green has to go on this Renban, and it goes there. And now yellow can't go on this Renban, so yellow has to go over here, but yellow can't go there because it would be touching green, so yellow goes there. So now I know one of these two is yellow, for whatever that's worth. Oh, yellow in box 4 is placed, because, again, yellow can't go next to green. So we've got those. So yeah, all of these are 3 6s. I probably need to color my 4 5s. So it's interesting, this 4 5 doesn't show up on this Renban. So this Renban... okay. So here's an interesting point. So let's just imagine the world where this is a 3 for a second. What's going to happen with this Renban? Well, it can't be 4 5. So if this is a 3, there's definitely a 2 on it. But there can't be a 1 on it also, because then there'd need to be a black dot between them. So if this is a 3, this is a 2 4 Renban. What if this is a 6? If this is a 6, again, I can't go 5 4. So then I have to go 7. And I think I could go either 7 8 or I could go 5 7. 5 7. Do I see anything wrong with? So yeah, so there's a few options. Oh, but 2 4 doesn't work either for the same reason. 2 4 doesn't work because there'd be a black dot. So actually, neither option with 3 works. That's hilarious. Both versions with 3 end up putting 2 black dot digits next to each other. So green is 6. Yellow is 3. These can't be 4 5. So there's definitely no 4 here. They could be 7 8, although that's hard to believe, but they could be 7 8. So these are from 5 7 8. There's definitely a 7 in here. That was very clever. Let's see. So there's a 6 down here. Oh, there's a 6 down here, but it's not there because it would be next to a 3. So there's a 6 here. Boy, my brain is not doing good at the no touchy thing today. So there's a 6 down there. Therefore, the 3 is here because I need a 3 on my... Or I can't have a 3 and a 6 on my Renban. They're too far apart. So that's a 3. That's a 3. So... yeah, 6 in box 6 is also placed. Good point. Which places 6 back in this box. Okay, so what could go next to this 6? So let's fill this out. So it could go down to 4, 5, up to 8. And so Jay Dyer's point is that actually tells me I do know all the numbers in the puzzle now, because this is a 4, 5, 7, 8 quadruple. So the numbers in the puzzle that are not 3 and 6 are 4, 5, 7, and 8. So these are 7, 8. And let's just go ahead and percolate 4, 5, 7, 8 into every cell in the grid. And then think about things. Let's see. So these 4 5s look over. So these aren't 4 or 5. They are 7 or 8. I know these aren't 7 because there's definitely a 7 living on life here. This can't be an 8 because one of these two is a 4. In fact, I should pencil mark that too. One of those is a 4, so that's not a 4, but also that's not an 8. One of these 3 is a 4 now, and so this can't be an 8 because if it was an 8, I would put the 8 next to the 4. Let's see. I know this isn't a 7 by pencil marks I already have. So therefore, this can't be an 8 because then that would make that a 7, so that's not an 8. This cell is next to all 3 places for 8, Jay Dyer points out, so this cell's never a 4. So this is only a 5 or a 7. One of these 3 is a 4, so that can't be an 8, just by the column. Let's see. I do love the like negative Kropke sorts of puzzles. They are fun for me. 8 in row 5 points out F Jam is in one of those two, so this can't be a 4. So that is useful. Let's see. Row 5, column 3. Good point from Garion. If this is 5 or 7, then my 4 and 8 are pushed over here, and they either have to touch or they have to be together on a Renban, which makes even less sense. So this can't be 5 or 7. This is only 4 or 8. It's looking at other places where maybe something being a 5-7 would force things to touch, but I have not yet seen it. Why can't row 5, column 5 be a 5? Good point from Isabella. I have a triple in column 3 that places a 7 here. So that's a 7 and an 8, which now makes this a 5, because it can't be a 4 anymore. Makes that a 7 and an 8 and a 4 and an 8, and a 5 and a 4, and an 8 and a 5. These are a 4, 7, which annoyingly works both ways. We'll come back to that. So these aren't 8 anymore. Let's see. That's not a 5. That's not a 5 or an 8. It's a 4 or 7. That's not a 5. It's a 4 or 7. It's not an 8. It's not a 5 anymore. I'm squinting at my places I've put 8s. Ah, there we go. I was looking for this, but I didn't find it, but Chameleon did. This 8 can't be next to a 4. So that's 5 and 4, which makes that 7 and 5 and 4 and 4 and 7 and 4 and 5. And so now we have a 7-8 pair here in this column and a 7-8 pair in this column, but that one can't be an 8 because it's next to a 4. So that's a 7 and an 8 and a 7 and an 8. And the betting tree is 8. Congratulations from Zach and I to the guessers of 8. May all your betting tree wishes come true. Nice puzzle. That was really cool. I was very surprised that 4 and 8 ended up in the grid. I thought when it was a negative black dot puzzle that there would only end up being one pair of black dotable digits. I really loved the break-in, by the way, of identifying that these had to be basically 3 apart, so they had to be 3 and 6, and these had to be 4 and 5. That was very cool. A surprising amount of oomph packed into that little 6x6. Alrighty, I'm going to pull up the next 6x6, and I'll be right back. I am back. So we have, now this one's anti-knight, just to make it extra fun, since we've scanned anti-king, negative crocky. Now we get to scan anti-knight. But this one's not a mean mini. This is just regular. So we're going to use the digits 1 through 6. Anti-knight. Digits can't repeat in the cage. And we have region sum lines, which are really all arrows. Like, these, it's kind of funny. These all could have just been arrows. Okay. So, first things first. Yellow, where does it go in box 5? It can't repeat on its own arrow in its own column or here by anti-knight. So, yellow is there. So now I ask where yellow goes in this cage, because the cage needs a yellow. By anti-knight, it's not there, so yellow goes there. So now yellow in this box goes here. Yellow in this box goes here. And we've got our last yellow placed. So now if I make this green in this box can't repeat on its own arrow by anti-knight. It can't go anywhere but there. Green looking down goes there. By some combination of anti-knight and other things. Green is certainly in one of these two. Green is in one of these two in this cage. So in this cage, green is not in either of those two. It's not yellow. Oh, no, that's not true. Sorry, I was wrong. Green is in one of these 3. Well, that's obnoxious. All very unfortunate. I, for some reason, thought I knew green couldn't go there, but I obviously don't. So green is on yellow's arrow, so yellow can't go on green's arrow, but that's not going to actually be very useful. Let's see. Okay, so this can get a color, too. It can be purple. Where does purple go in this box? Purple in this box can only go there. Where does purple go in this box? I don't know. Purple goes in one of those two. Maybe that wasn't immediately useful. But whatever, we can keep coloring things, because no one can stop us now. This is none of the colors so far. So therefore, it can be orange and it goes there. And so the question is, could orange be here? Maybe. If I probably need to look carefully at what the relationship is between the digits to assess that. And I would rather do anti-knight stuff if that's possible. Okay, so now orange is bigger than yellow. Orange is definitely on this arrow. Oh, orange is placed. Orange is not just definitely in this arrow, but orange also isn't there. So orange is there. Good point from chat there. So orange up here is placed there by some combination of madness. So orange is there. And orange is there. And we've now got all the oranges. Let's see. Has that made purple any easier? Yes, it has placed purple in this box there. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Yeah, the only place for purple in the cage is here now, so that's purple. So that's purple. So that's purple. And that's all the purples. Do we have any more luck with green placing now? Well, I know that green in the cage is in one of these two cells. So green is not in any of those cells. That doesn't quite get me there. I probably need to actually think about what green is bigger or smaller than to actually do this. Maybe possibly. Or alternatively, I could ask where green goes in column 4. So thank you for saving me, Chameleon. Much appreciated. Okay, so that's green. So now green in this box is here. And so green in this box is here, which also takes care of it in the cage. So we've got all the greens now. And so now we only have really a couple more digits to name. So let's make this blue so that that's blue. So now that's blue. So that's blue. So that's blue. So that's blue. We've got all the blues. And now, yeah, we could still slap down a betting tree. I feel like green is the appropriate color to be the betting tree. You can bet on green's value. And then the rest of them, they can be red, just so that we can have a nice little carpet. Okay. So now chat gets to tell me how numbers work. So blue is bigger than orange and red. Red is bigger than yellow and orange. So blue is also, by the transitive property, therefore bigger than yellow. So blue is at least 4. But yellow is bigger than orange and green, so blue is also bigger than green. So that's 4 colors that blue is bigger than. So blue is either 5 or 6. And it's bigger than all of these colors. Do I know if blue or purple is bigger? I don't think I immediately know that. But I do see that purple is here. Okay, so... so could orange be 1 is, I guess, one of the questions. So we've got all of these pairs. So I thought that was going to be more exciting. So I guess one way to think about this is every one of these arrows needs a 1 or a 2. So, so if orange is not 1 or 2, then now all of these digits are 1 or 2, and that's not possible because that's 4 different digits. So orange is definitely 1 or 2. So if orange is definitely 1 or 2, then let's think about it. So, well, that means every arrow has a 1 or a 2 already, so I don't have to even think about anything more than that. There's got to be 3 or 4. Let's see. Think about 4 if orange is 2. Let's see. Jay says we do know blue is 6. So yeah, how many colors does orange show up with? Orange shows up with 4 colors is the point. So orange shows up with 4 colors, whereas 2 can only, in fact, show up with 3 colors. Because 2 can actually only show up with 3, 4... No, sorry. 2 even can only show up with 2 colors. So orange has to be 1, is the point. So orange shows up with 4 different colors, so therefore orange is 1. Because 2, the only things you could add and stay less than 6 are 3 and 4. So orange is 1. I know that's not at all how chat was thinking about it, but that makes my brain happier than anything chat was saying. So orange is 1. I therefore know that the things that orange shows up with are an honest... these two are the... No, sorry. These things that orange shows up with. Oh, you could add 1, but that's still not 4 things. There still are not 4 things, right? So there are 3 things you can add. 1, 3, and 4, but there are 4. So these are a 2, 3, 4, 5 quadruple is the point. And so the non-blue colors are a 2, 3, 4, 5 quadruple. And so therefore this is a 6. So blue is 6. And so therefore red is 5. And so so we've got all of that. Now red being 5 tells me that yellow is 4. And yellow being 4 tells me that green is 3. Green being 3 tells me that purple is 2, and then we're done. Okay. I liked the way that I sort of figured out to do this at the end. I liked the like counting the number of places orange shows up and thinking about that 1 or 2 has to show up on everything. I really liked that. There wasn't any like I have to sort of hypothecate, and there was no, thank God, solving systems of equations. Like most puzzles like this end up making me solve a system of equations, which I do not like, but this did not. This did a very nice job of this. I really liked this implementation of this idea. But fear not, there are more 6x6s. I will be right back. Alrighty, next we have this Jay Dyer 6x6 region sum lines puzzle. Yep, just a straight region sum lines puzzle. There's like a, I don't know, like a 30% chance that I've already done this puzzle. I don't think I have, but it's not marked as me having done it, but it's possible. This is just normal 6x6, so no mean mini or anything. Let's see, so these are something to an even total. So these two are opposite in parity. That doesn't seem very useful. Let's see. So I guess one consequence of... okay, so here's a cool thing. Okay, so these yellow cells, they have the same sum as these cells, which means the leftovers in the box have the same sum. So in fact, these 2 cells have the same sum as these 3 cells. But what's awesome is this cell also has that sum. So this sum is at least 6, but it's also at most 6. And so this sum is 6. These are 1, 2, 3. These are 4, 5, 6. These are one of the ways of making that work out. But that's an awesome break-in. I really like that. So... Woohoo! That was very cool. I liked it a lot. So these don't contain a 3, but they do contain a 1 or a 2. So because they contain a 1 or a 2, this can't sum to 3. So this is only summing to 4 or 5. There's definitely a 3 in here, because if I make it 1, 2, I'll break this. Oh, there's definitely a 6 up here just by maths. So that's going to place a 6 there for whatever that's worth. That's not a 3 anymore. Not a 3 anymore. Close enough. So these are 1, 2, or 4, 5, of course. Let's see. What are we now able to do with these things? So this is a 4 or a 5, I guess, is one of the points, because I've used the 2 1 2s out of the row. So these are a 3, a 1 2, and a 6. Doesn't seem immediately useful to me. Let's see, 6 down here. 6 is placed in this box, because I can't put a 6 here because it would make this number too big. So that's a 6. So now this line sums to less than 6, but it certainly sums to at least 3. So this is a 3, 4, 5. For whatever that is worth. I know these two have opposite parities, but I don't think I yet know that yeah, I don't think I quite yet know what's going on over here. I probably have to think about math a little bit more. I'd love to be able to say this also has to be 3, 4, 5, but I don't know yet. One of these two is a 6. Let's see. Renban is asking about 1 and 2 in this row. Well, they don't both go on one of these. And they don't go there either. Right, so one of 1 and 2 is in one of these places, and one of 1 and 2 is in one of these places. So each of these lines has a 1 or a 2 on it, is Renban's point. So let's see. So there's an implied, that's a good point. A way to look at it, Todd, is that because there's a 1 and a 2 on these lines, that's not necessarily true that these have to be consecutive, actually. So this is at least 9. It's only 9 if this is exactly what... Oh, this can't even be 9. This sum has to be at least 10, because I can't use both 1 and 2 here, because it would break this. So, I mean, I'm probably trying to figure out that the 3 cells off the line here have the same sum, and so... Oh, but annoyingly, one of the cells over here that's off the line is a 6. I don't see that at all. Am I supposed to be asking where this line goes or where this number goes in this box? I don't even think I know it can't go there, do I? I don't think I do. Oh, okay. I understand now how Garion is getting this digit. So I know these two are opposite parity. Let's call them purple parity and green parity. Green was a terrible choice. Purple parity and red parity. So I know that because these sum to an even number. So these are opposite parity. So these two things have opposite parity sum. These sums are the same in both boxes. So therefore these two need to have opposite parity. So therefore this is a 5. That is that is what Garion is saying, and it makes sense. So therefore this is a 2, 3. This is a 1. Woohoo! This is a 1, 5. So that's a 4. Let's see. So if this is 2, 3 now, what is that going to do for me? That is a good question. Excuse me. Now there's going to be a 5 over here. Could the 5 be there if I went 5, 1, 6? Maybe, possibly. Annoyingly. These are from 2, 3, 6. That one's not the 6. You can fill that in. Bye now. Thanks for stopping by. So these are from 1, 2, 3, 4. I suppose I can fill in. That one's not a 1. This is worth 3. These would be 1 and 2. That doesn't sound like it's going to work great. This is worth 3. These will be 1 and 2. And so these will be 3 and 4. And the sum here will be 13. But now I've got to get to 13 without a 6, which I can't. So this can't be a 3 for a rather complicated chainy reason. If this is a 3, these are a 1 and a 2. These are a 3 and a 4, which makes the sum of this line 13. But this line doesn't have a 6 on it over here, so the most it can sum for is 5, 4, 3, which is 12. So this can't be a 3. But that buys me a 4, 5 pair in the column, which tells me that's not a 4. So therefore, this is also a 1, 2, or a 3. I don't even know if it helps, but it's true. So that... let's see, these are from 2, 3, 4 as well. I might as well put on here. So I guess the only way this is a 4 is if this is 4 and 1. I know I don't have both 1 and 2 on this arrow, is I guess the point. Row 5, column 1. Sorry, I'm trying to understand this comment. Are consecutive. Right. Because these are consecutive is the point. Because this digit is 1 more than that digit, if I go through it, that means because this, again, this string of 3, this is Isabella's point, because these strings of 3 add to the same total, this digit's 1 more than that digit. So therefore, this digit is 1 less than that digit. So this digit's a 3 or a 4, is the point. And so either way, these digits are from 1, 2, 3. So we've got that. 4 breaks the line in the row. So if this is a 4 and that's a 5, then 21 minus 9 is 12. and I have to put a 6 somewhere, and I can't because the sum is supposed to be 6. Yeah, that's gorgeous. Yeah, if this is a 4 and a 5, if this is a 4 and a 5, then just by math, the common sum of this line is 6. And I can't put a 6 on a line where the sum is 6. So this actually has to be 3 and 4, which makes that a 2. The sum of this line I now know because it's now 7, so that's a 5. And so we get to do the 4 and the 5 up there. These are a 1 and a 3. That's a 2 and a 4. That's very cool. I really like that that interaction between this 5 and this 6 giving me that. That's very very nice. I did the wrong thing again. 1. That is a 3. That's a 6. It's a 1 and a 2 and a 5 and a 1 and a 6. Let's see. So these are from 3, 4, 5. So that's a 3, a 4, and a 5. Oops. A 3, a 4, and a 5. And a 2 and a 3. These include a 1, which goes there, and a 6, which goes there. That's a 2, 4, and the last cell is a 5. Very cool, very cool. The last insight there that was really important was this this fact that these two digits being consecutive told me about these, and the whole parity bit about these two was also important and cool. Okay, maybe it wasn't important at all. I don't think it was actually important at all, but it was still cool even if it was not important. That was a very neat puzzle. Very again, a lot of stuff sort of packed into that little 6x6. Did I use the parity bit? Jay says I did use the parity bit. I can't remember. I can't remember if I did or... Oh, because it told me these two had to be different parities? Right. That's how it went. It went, these two have to be different parities, so these two have to be different parities. These two are consecutive, so these two have to be consecutive. That's how it went. Okay. Thanks, DadJokes. Hope you have a good day. I'm about to wrap up stream here as well, but thank you very much. Alrighty, I think that's about going to do it for stream for today. Thank you to everyone for stopping by. Thank you to all of you who made the puzzles of all awesome sorts of varieties. I had a lot of fun today. Hopefully you did as well. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you to everyone who supports the stream. If you're curious about supporting the stream and you would like to do that, you can do that by clicking the join button down below. That'll take you to being a YouTube member. You can do that for as little as $5 a month. So if you are a regular and you feel you get $5 a month worth of enjoyment out of the stream and you want to support us, great appreciation if you do that. At higher levels, you get more bonuses. That is also an option. So you can go ahead and do that if you're interested. Thank you to everyone who does support. It really does help sort of keep these things coming, all the cool stuff for the stream. Thank you to the super supporters who are David Ratner, Michael O'Connor, Nordy, Franco, and Woofer. Thank you very much to all of you who really support the stream and keep us going. I look forward to seeing all of you for streams soon. I'll be streaming again on Wednesday. So look forward to seeing you all then. But that's all for now. Have a great evening or morning or whatever time it is, wherever you may be, and see you all soon.